Still can't do the cats thing.
No, you see, I need to have a word with Bruno, our producer, about this because
They do the thing, and I can't do that.
Because yesterday we were talking. Yesterday we were talking, and we were talking about the pronunciation of that, and I said it's difficult to know in French when to leave off the end of a word and when not. And I said like cat, and Bruno said no, quatre. So, but then on our counting this morning, it was 5, 4, 3. So Bruno.
So you mean he didn't?
Bruno is not following his own advice.
The rogue eight. Oh, he's just said it depends. Like all things in French,
depends.
Tim.
It depends.
Bruno, you're all speaking a made-up language, I swear to God. Let's get into this game, though, shall we? It's Clash and Kai taking away. He said, you just got to know. Yeah, but you got to teach us the rule, man. We've got to know how this stuff works.
The rules are, there are no rules.
The rules are whatever Bruno feels on the day.
It certainly seems that way.
The bands are going to be Ying and Grig going. It's like, poor Bruno's getting an absolute terror
all
in
over
here.
the word.
And all he can do is just sit here and listen to us give it out to these thousands of people. And all he can do is talk to us saying, why are you doing this to me, guys? Why are you treating me like this? It is all love, Bruno. You're absolutely right. We are in the city of love, and we love the siege that is about to befall our very eyes. Furia wildcard here on Fortress. It's Furia on the defense. Let's see how these first couple of rounds go.
Let's play some Siege.
Yeah! that feels like a proper, like, bro, sort of like, yeah! Football, yeah! Fear, yeah! It's one of those moments you've just done, Tim, I'm afraid. Right, it's the B stream. It's the last day of groups. Things are going to be a bit unhinged today. We apologise in advance.
It descends. It always happens. It is inevitable. Furia versus Wildcard. Round 1, Fortress. We're going to go to Bathroom as our first site. So we've got Nade setting up at the top. A lot of you are probably coming in. You may or may not have seen Fortress at this level. We've only seen it a few times. Everybody's learning. But what we've been seeing, I can tell you that for sure. What we've been seeing is not a lot of pressure towards White Stairs from the attackers. Little bit occasionally, but not too much. So Nade was setting up there with the Frost on his own, with a shield. He's going to hold on to that. Often that area is going to be held from Master Bedroom. We saw KDS do a great job of it yesterday. Getting in Master Bedroom and you've got a line of sight, thank you very much, all the way down to those White Stairs. But we don't see too much pressure coming in there from the attackers. The majority of the pressure, and our observer knows where I'm going, comes in from that game side usually. They're trying to get themselves established in-game, in dorms, and we've got Herds and Philippox that are playing down there at the minute. They're going to be looking to hold on to that area. That is, I would imagine, where the pressure's going to come from Wildcard.
Come on, Tim, you played a bit of Fortnite. You've got to thank the bus driver in that game. You've got to thank the observer here. We've got medics with us in this game.
Oh, anti-medics.
He knows what he's all about, doesn't he? Absolutely.
We get a medic spin!
It's been a while since I've seen one of those. Walls going to get open. So excitable this morning. What's going on? Dash is going to start.
It could be an interesting day.
I thought you were going to do the whole drink thing again and spit it everywhere. Almost. Well, Dash is in on the Monty. We saw Monty band away actually in pretty much every game of Fortress we've seen so far because he helps take control so effectively. You can hold guns up nice and close. You can have shotguns, but the shield is perfect. If nothing else, Tim, it kind of reminds me of Theme Park of old when you have these shields being used to take ground. It's because it is so hard to move through this map, especially around the briefing area.
See, it seems like attackers just continually are gagging to get into briefing room, and it never ends well for them. That's the fight at the minute on this top floor. It's like either side, get into briefing room and go from there. It's certainly going better for Wildcard than we've seen for others. Dash managing to get the kill onto Philippox, takes down one defender, but also KZ went down elsewhere. So Wildcard pretty much got the run of the top floor at the minute. They've got Nade still in position on those White Stairs, but he's maybe going to be challenged by Baby Shark, who's certainly going to give him something to think about. But other than that, the rest of the team are now shaped up on this game and briefing side to sweep across into sight.
I think Furia may grow to rue the fact they didn't take away shields from Wildcard, Tim. I know it's only round 1, but it has been so oppressive. Just being able to peek inside a briefing and know when a player is playing up on the close wall, another player can step across and just get the pre-fire on it. Dash has just marched inside a site. He's getting this one down, even with the Frost coming in off the back of him as well. Shield is back up. Easy peasy. What more can you possibly want? They've lost a couple of players, though. I say that, Tim. We're down to a 3 versus 3 as Nade has started to turn the tide. But in a post-plant with a shield up, this is going to be so hard to win.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult, but look, Nade's having a phenomenal tournament. I saw him get an unbelievable 1v3 clutch yesterday at the end of their first map. Brilliant stuff. And he continues on at the same pace today. Dash is really low health. That is a problem for the Monty.
It's all about Bay.
Nade's going to get onto the diffuser here. They're going to go for the disable. Are they going to to do this, Des. They're going to do it.
They can't. Can he see him? He can see him just in time. No! They got the disable even though he had eyes on the man that was going in for the disable. Bay pulling the trigger just a little bit too late. Another half a second of wildcard, maybe get that one over the board, but bloody well played by Furia to claw that one back. Let's not forget, Tim, they were down in the 3 versus 5 at a point. They'd lost a lot of this top 4 control, but thanks to Nade getting that 3K, managed to retake the ground, stick the disable. Pros don't fake.
Certainly don't. Heading into round 2 then, it will be Nade 1, wildcard 0. And it was, it's going to be a tough one for Wildcard as well. It's only round 1, it doesn't matter too much. But look, they did a lot right that round. Dash went in and took the grounding games and Dorm really, really quickly. They didn't lose anybody getting into briefing, which has turned into a real kill box for some teams over the last couple of days. So good stuff from them. They get in there nicely, get the diffuser down, not too much of a problem. It's just one of those things that you can't legislate for. A player like Nade just doing what Nade does. Look at the shots he's hitting. Like the thing is, they're not special. They're just smooth like butter, Des. It's like you can see it coming, and he just doesn't miss. He just does not miss.
You know who does miss him?
Yeah,
Bay.
He does. Unfortunately for Wildcard. But look, he gets onto the diffuser at the right time. Just so many good decisions from Nade during that round. Phenomenal from him. 3-0. Yeah, we move on.
This is really silly. Inside of a meeting over the last couple of days, and I've been looking at it, on the wall you see that kind of red circle on it, and I've always been like, that's not like an enemy outline, is it? Like, what is that? And I've just realised because it comes over the front of the mirror window as well, it's the projector inside the meeting room. But I've never spotted it because it's not like a white thing drawn, like a screen drawn down in front of it. And now I feel really stupid.
Well, it's because you are, Des.
Wow. Wow.
Give it a rest. Awful.
What are you saying? Give it a rest? You said that.
I know, but you're awful to me. You bully me constantly.
Yeah, but then you're saying give it a rest as in give it a rest to yourself.
No, I'll give it. I'm saying you looking for sympathy. Like you don't get any.
Why was I looking for sympathy? I just said, "Wow." Jesus, man, get back to bed.
Round 2.
Come on, Grandpa, let's get back to your bed. Come on.
Round 2, looking at where the attack is coming from. Nowhere just yet is the answer. Interestingly, Baby Shark is out towards Courtyard. Courtyard's not used too often as a point of ingress. We'll see whether he does indeed intend to move in through there or not. I don't think he's going to. He's just kind of using the balcony at the minute for the long angle through the window. But right now, there's only one player inside, and that's Spiker. He's going to be in and around Tower. He's just kind of up at the top of White Stairs, so that would suggest that Wildcard will join him at some point, and they'll go for that push across from the opposite direction again, probably try and get their way into briefing as we've seen previously, but not too much movement, a little bit slow. But Kansan, he's going to be a catalyst. He's going to find a kill onto Philippox, and that's 5 versus 4.
No shield in this round is the one to note, of course. It does mean they're going to have a little bit more of a challenge, I think, in getting briefing, but because you're attacking from the other side, it's not as bad to push in from that side because it's easier to get control of bathroom and use that to push in. When you're attacking in towards office and bathroom itself, you're coming in through these single doorways where the defenders absolutely have control of that bathroom wall, and so there's a little bit of transformation here. Thank you very much, medics. Or at least for now they'll have it, Tim, but with the mirror window there, it will get dealt with eventually. Yet again, it's a 5v3, Tim, and the killing starts on the side of Furia.
Yeah, JV's going to get pushed back out of briefing there, but Hertz actually goes in and retakes with the mirror. He's going to go for the challenge onto Spiker, but he loses it. That is a big moment for Wildcard. Baby Shark on the back of it picks up a double, and that's going to be the round. They level things up, 1-1. I honestly expect to see this one continue on this trend, just round for round, close battle.
What I love about it is, and this is why I fell in love watching Wildcard on day one, and yeah, we spoke about them back on day one. We've seen them grow over the months, increase their standing and performance, and show that it wasn't just a one-off when they had that excellent performance at Reload. They came to Munich and very much had a similar sort of showing. I think here what made me really fall in love with them on day one was their attacks are just so fun to watch. Very rarely are they getting stuck. Are they doubling down and, like, you know, sitting on drones for half the round? They're actively always moving forwards. There's always something happening somewhere, which is kind of like outside of what you'd normally see other teams do, where they'd normally all drone, then start their moves together, get back on drones again, then all move forward together again. Whereas these guys, it's like cover and move. It's like a very, very military operation at all times. They're just very, very on it and never scared of taking the fight to the other side. It is wonderful to watch.
We're just going to get a little look at a few stats here along the way. We've got a bit of a technical pause. I think just a little bit of an issue for one of the, I think it's one of the Furia players, maybe a little bit of a headset issue. So
for Mr.
Philippox. Something
Philippox.
similar. So we'll get that sorted just as quickly as we can do, and we will be back into things. But for now, you get to see just how good Herds really is.
And glasses are a choice.
The thing, Herds is one of them people who just pulls up anything he wears. It just It's fine.
Whenever I see him like,
Pulls it off.
whenever I see him outside a game, you see him inside a game sometimes as well. He wears the very like straight topped like black full up shade black glasses. He looks really cool. The guy always looks cool. I'll say that much. He does always look very, very cool.
Yeah, that's it. He can wear whatever he wants.
Spiker on some meditation thing right now. Look at him. He's locked him. No, he ain't. Oh, I woke him up. My bad.
Bro.
Amazing timing. Thank you for that, Spiker.
That is a real siege timing
Get that
moment.
clip. That is amazing.
It's only 2 rounds into him.
That was brilliant. You can't pay for that kind of timing.
Very good, very good. And we'll be going back to Dortmund games again, so clearly opting to avoid going downstairs where they can here, so not going to the off-site in a classic 3-site rotation, pointing towards Furia, not really liking that as a 3rd site. It's the tertiary for a reason. They'll go there when required, but when they have the choice, they're going to try and avoid it, and they're going to have a repeat on this top floor. Let's see what changes this time around.
Okay then. So last time I honestly think that they've. I was going to say that they've given up that kind of White Stairs corridor, museum, horse area a little bit too easily. There wasn't too much contest around there. A lot of the focus was kind of JV, he's in there again, in briefing, and then they had KZ supporting him from site, and I just don't know how much was going on defensively up to this side. So I'd like to see a little bit more. We've got the Vulcan canister. Philippox is going to be playing probably in or around command, maybe horse itself. He's got options, but I think, yeah, get 2 or 3 even over there and make it difficult for WILCARD to take ground. Spiker was sat at the top of White Stairs for ages, and then they just kind of, walked in. Kansan joined him in Museum, and they just kind of walked their way down, and it just all felt a little bit too easy.
Certainly a change away here in terms of lineup for both sides as well. The Warden being brought along by Philippox here. They've set from playing the mirror.
We've seen this jump out.
We have.
Cyber did this.
They've been learning, Tim. I told you, over time they'd learn from each other, get on the rappel, and the jump.
No, they're not.
Nope. He's like, I ain't falling for this nonsense. No, thank you. Dash a little bit too wise to their antics here. Not going to find himself being taken down too early on. We have got that deadly duo on the other side I often speak about in the Dockerby and the Deimos, between them covering each other's weaknesses very well, but being extremely effective at forcing roamers back towards site. And right now, Tim, what Furia got a lot of? Roamers that need to be forced back. So in the combination with these two operators, you are going to see a WILCARD have to chew through this extended hold up towards the northwest side of the map.
Yeah, at the minute, Philippox, I think, is the important one. He's on the Warden. He's just in and around horse. He's kind of bouncing in and out of command as well. He's got a little rotation that allows him through there to challenge from multiple angles, and I think he's going to be the important one. If he gets forced away, then WILCARD are able to start taking ground. And just having a look now, he is dropping back, but he gets kill on his way, and this is why I say he's important, because he's now stopped them being able to push in through that door and support their teammates. Dash is getting aggressive though. Herds, he picks up Kansan. Good ground taken by WILCARD again, but the cost might just prove too high this time.
It's massive to get rid of Bay on the glass as well. That would have been one of their X factors as such. That's so close to killing him. He's literally got 1 HP. If he got the kill off the back of that, it would have been absolutely massive. Baby Shark dropping away for a second. Another call coming out. KZ top of the stairs here, sat on the Chanker, forced back towards site. Again, the power of that Dockerby coming in, and they get the cam hack.
Dash has been able to sneak through bathroom here. He's getting himself towards briefing. JV92 is in and around there, but he's dropped back, so Dash can put pressure on from the opposite side. That's why this is important, because Baby Shark is still looking towards dorms. Spike has now gone to join Dash over in briefing with that diffuser, so they're pinching them from both sides.
It was Kansan in the spot where we just saw Dash take up a moment ago. He died there on a swing, unfortunately coming out, so they've had to replace him, and that is why Dash has moved over here instead. Still got 3 tracks in his back pocket, mind you, and Baby Shark is coming up below on the blue stairs.
Yeah, he's just moved around. He's dropped down red stairs, flanked underneath, and come up the other side, and I'm not sure if they're going to be aware or not. I think KZ is. He's putting some fire canisters out that way. That's brilliant defending from KZ. JV picks up Dash, and that allows them now to focus on that briefing side. It's all up to Spiker. He's rotated again. This time, WILCARD, they've not been given any ground for free. They've kind of bounced back and forward. We've seen them push briefing. We've seen them push horse. We've seen them push blue stairs. They've tried from every side of WILCARD. They've tried to adapt. Furia having none of it. They were aware of everything that was going on. Really, really good. Particular shout shout out to KZ in that round. I think getting that awareness of Baby Shark on the flank underneath, coming up blue stairs, that could have been an absolute killer move from Baby Shark, but KZ was there ready for it. Shumika launcher goes out, kill comes in, great stuff.
And I was going to say the Shumikas have been really effective across a couple of rounds there. The prior round maybe less so, but I think more the use case of them has been phenomenal because of how bottlenecky this map is. Like I've said, it's really good for keeping players away. We have got attack timeout. Let's see if we can listen in, though it might be a little bit difficult.
Gornis is really quietly spoken.
He ain't giving nothing away.
He's really softly spoken. It's like Gornis. He's not doing that just to hide. What if you just talk to him anyway? He's very softly spoken. So yeah, difficult to hear anything.
Yeah, we won't bother trying on that one because I've got no chance of hearing him. But yeah, we've seen the bans also coming through. It's worth touching on for a second. We've had the Azami taken away on the Dockerby. Dockerby we've seen across all 3 rounds being played by Baby Shark. I spoke earlier about the efficacy of that operator in forcing these roamers back, and you've seen every single time a call has come through, players on the side of Fury have had to step back. You saw it from the Chanka in the previous round at the top of red stairs, was forced to move back away in towards site. But for me, again, the Chanka's provided so much threat on that site, in Dortmund games in particular, because there are so many single doorways to push on through. You could lay it down and really cover 2 or 3 doors at the same time with very little worry, knowing full well that they would have to push in through fire if they were going to get in towards site. So really good use of the operator by Furia.
Okay then, we're going to be heading on through to round 4, and we are still not going downstairs. We're now going to be able for Furia to move back over to the site they won in the first round. We've got our additional bans come in, Dokkaebi and Azami. Both high value, probably don't need to dive into that too much. The fact that Fury have been playing with a lot of roamers, it just, works perfectly. Get rid of the Dokkaebi, and you're maybe going to be able to hold on to those other rays. It's kind of a funny one. So, top floor, we talk about roamers, and they are, in a sense, that they're not playing inside, but it's kind of, a lot of it's down to extended hold. I would say probably roaming on Fortress, as we're seeing it, would more be maybe having somebody underneath, like trying to, work up those staircases, get a flank, that sort of thing. But, either way, Fury have taken away that Dokkaebi, so keep an eye out for that. Maybe that's something that we're going to see, is them sort of heading even further away from the site than they have been doing.
Baby Shark on his way up to the roof, just going to take out that castle barricade on the door in towards courtyard. This means that they have that ability to step in there later, can apply some phantom pressure in the meantime, meaning that there might not be a player there, but the defenders are aware because it's been taken out. It means someone could be there, and you have to pay attention and respect to that at all times. Excited to see how Dash plays him, because of course we saw that for the Monty back in the first round. It was really effective back then. Here he's moved over to playing on the Blitz, which says to me, gotta go fast, gotta move that bit quicker than what a Monty can provide, which suggests at some point they are going to try and run through a couple of these players on the side of Furia.
He's got the Blitz now working in from that tower position.
Drop a donk on it.
JV takes down Baby Shark. That's going to be the sledge gone. Not too much of a problem. They're not, looking for verticality or anything here. So it's not the end of the world, but the Blitz is going to continue the march forward. Dash did this really well last time, was able to force Felipox back into briefing. He's done it, but he'll wish he hadn't done it. Because Felipox manages to hit him with the Nitro there, takes down the Blitz, and this round has fallen apart quickly for WILCARD.
That was a pre-play C4, by the way. They knew that he was going to take that path the whole time.
He did exactly the same last time.
It was absolutely wonderful. I mean, the Monty was up on the door last time and able to challenge and feed information about what was going on in meeting, and that got them through, but that was really smart.
Thinking about it, I did see Felipox downstairs in prep phase. He came back up blue stairs just after KZ.
I've just checked as well. He hasn't had a C4 in his back pocket the entire round. So, yeah, he would have been down there super quick. Really good.
Big-brained. Felipox knowing exactly where he was going to go. And WILCARD continued to push forward. Challenge will come on into briefing. Kansan knows that he's got it stacked up against him here. He's going to open that wall through into sight. Does have diffuser in hand, but is going to be Zoto canistered out of it for now. We can see the freeze effect on the left of your screen there. Felipox has had a real round here. He's, stopped multiple breaches. He's got that pre-placed Nitro kill. He's led them into a flawless round. Brilliant stuff from Furia.
And that's at the back of attack timeout. But more importantly, what I want to stress here is, often you think about a good team and you think about, wow, an amazing individual capability, all unbelievable gunners, great strats, they're always in sync, it looks perfect. You've seen something that I'd say you don't always really acknowledge or realize unless you look back at previous rounds here in Furia, which is adaptability. They looked at what they saw in round 1. What was the problem? Okay, it was a Monty on the meeting door. He was feeding information. They could pre-fire and swing us. We lost 2 players inside a meeting. How do we stop a Monty or another shield player doing that? Pre-play C4. It's just those small little things that definitely isn't them come into this game saying, oh, we can try and do this, like we know that they always do that. You don't, because you don't get to see them play this map ever before. But they've adapted to what they've seen in the game itself, came up with a new plan on the fly, and have delivered it and completely removed the threat of dash. Really wonderful stuff for Furia, and it gives them a flawless round, as said, and probably suggests him why they are one of our best teams in the tournament. Who'd have thought?
Who'd have thought? So we're going to be going downstairs. The conversation rumbles on in my mind as to verticality and its importance on this side.
Is that because you talk to yourself a lot?
Yeah. That's the only way I get any sense around here, Des.
Wow. The reverse burn. Easy. Impressive.
Fire's back. So, look, we've seen teams do vertical, we've seen teams not do vertical. FaZe yesterday were using vertical on this side. They were going in, it was Cyber going in on the ram, using the boogie drones to rip up that floor in games. It didn't really gain them too much. This is what I've been saying.
Come on.
JV takes down.
Too easy.
So, yeah, the verticality hasn't really, I don't think, been gaining an awful lot from what we've seen. So much so, we've seen quite a few teams attack this site without ever bothering going upstairs. So there's not always a big presence up there at the minute from the defenders. At the minute, we've got Herds. He's on his own. He's looking to hold on to it. To be honest, he's up there because he's on the Solis. He wants to use the vertical to be able to deny any plan. That's why he's in that position. So WILCARD need to be aware of that, but it's not so much from a sense, at least at the minute that we're seeing, for attackers going in and wanting those vertical angles. And if you want to know why that's the case, just have a look at the positioning of the defenders. None of them are in sight, so there's no point ripping all the floor up necessarily because you're not gaining anything. Normally you do that to force defenders out of position. They're already gone.
Come back to their ban as well, Tim. Banning away the Dockerbee has been WILCARD's main way of forcing these players back and applying pressure without having to take a gunfight. They've now only got the Deimos to lean on. It's why they've turned towards things like the Line and like the Jackal, so they can afford to deal with Furia when they're being aggressive out on their own. But you've lost the Line really early, and we've already spoken about the weaknesses that Deimos has, and Jackal made me laugh. Not quite sure he's quite yet there in the meta, I'd say, Tim. I tell you what, so close to getting a kill then on towards Herds, who I think with the animation was saved on that alone.
Herds has dropped back down to that bottom floor as well now. He's back into sight. JV92 going to pick up a second on the round. It's going to be Dash that he manages to find. So that's the Jackal gone as well. 4 versus 3 now as the breach continues to open up. And as I said, quite rightly, WILCARD have gone nowhere near that top floor. There is no verticality coming in from them. I think as time develops, we will see more vertical use on this site. Just to control doorways, things like that. Stop defenders rotating back into sight. But for the time being, not too much of a focus. Very much a lateral push here. 3 versus 2 as WILCARD get themselves a double to find that advantage in the man count for themselves once again.
Now it's just important to know where the players are. They've got a trap they can use on the Deimos. They've just seen one next to the oven on drone as well, so they should know where these last couple of players on Furia are. Like, it's a 3 versus 2. You've got the man advantage. Play for the trades, and this one's yours, Tim.
Should be, in theory.
In theory.
But you're against Furia, so you just never know. Especially with Philippox and Nade. Like I said, I literally watched Nade get a 1v3 yesterday. You know that he's got it in his locker. For the time being, they're going to continue breaching that wall. 20 seconds left to go. The clock is the enemy here, really, for WILD, because the longer they leave it, the more of a risk it's going to be. Spiker is in position to put the diffuser down and could choose to start doing so any second. I think they just want to make sure of where these remaining defenders are. Spiker is trying to choose his spot. He's got 8 seconds left to go. That kill might just signal. Yes, there we go. He starts to put the case down on the floor, and that's 2 seconds left. The clock will be extended as the plant is successful. Ooh. Out comes the Nitro. Philippox can do nothing, and he's now got 3 to fight back against.
This is a big retake for him to win here, and I doubt he gets away with it. He'll try his best, but Spiker hitting his second headshot of the round finally gets WILCARD on the board. And really, that was in a 4v5 from the off, because Baby Shark died and opening up one of the windows that we saw earlier on. Didn't get a chance to use any of his gadgetry, his drones, nothing. Really good recovery by WILCARD.
Yep, and, as I said, no vertical play there. We still see WILCARD successful on the attack, but we also saw an ending very, very similar to multiple other rounds that we've seen in that site, and that is that you kind of have a couple of attackers stood in the site, a couple of defenders stood in the other side, and there's just a bit of a gunfight between the two. Maybe the plant goes down, maybe it doesn't. Just a little bit of chaos at the end of the round, but WILCARD, they're the ones that come out on top. And moving into round 6, Furia 3-2 up at the minute. They're going to be looking to try and get themselves an advantage going into their attacking half. It is certainly, at least from my perspective, the fortress that I've seen. It's the attackers that are struggling so far, but it's par for the course given that it's a new map. So I think, you know, Furia, they're going to really want this round to give themselves that little bit of a buffer, that little bit of a cushion going into the second half when they're on the attack. So maybe it's not quite as stressful for them, but right now, WILCARD, they're going to do anything they can to spoil the party. I think a 3-3 half here from WILCARD would be really good.
It would, and I think even taking the 2 attacking rounds on a map like this, where, as we know, defenders are typically going to take the advantage, early release, still lots of things to figure out for attackers in terms of pacing and angles that can be held and dealing with all the cheese that comes out. We've seen the jump outs, we've seen the C4 up and towards the external stairs through courtyard. Lots of little things like that are going to have to get figured out. So there will be a number of upsets where attackers won't quite be as effective on this map as maybe you want them to be, but give them a bit of time and we'll find the cook. I think it'll probably take a good half a year until you see them get to that stage where it's like, at the stage where attackers are probably at the level they should be. However, I'd say that WILCARD haven't done too badly. Their first attack especially was really, really impressive. Well, the first round they won, sorry, with the shield and the Monty. Really, really like that. Did ultimately get retook on the back of it. Won the second round, so they've shown what they can do on this map. Just a couple of rounds they've been, fair to say, outclassed by the other side, Tim.
A little bit. That's going to happen.
Yes, Furia.
Everyone's
been there.
It is. It's, you know, it's going to happen when you're against this team. That's just the reality. We're going to avoid the Mozzie Pest there with the Rotero drone, I think. It was activated just in time. Just having a look at wherever he's set up. There's Philippos and JV92 up towards that top side. That's, again, where the fight is going to come in, I think. With CB just sending up the Twitch drone, white stairs. They just want to know exactly what they're going to be facing. Down Museum and then in towards Horse. Getting a good idea here. They know that Philippos is going to be positioned down there at Horse. He has been consistently when they've defended this site. So just got to have a plan to deal with it. Halfway through the round, nobody really inside of the map again. We've seen exactly the same. Spiker gets himself inside. He's in and around that sort of top white corridor, doing the droning, getting in position, and then usually we'll be joined by Kansan and Bay to start pushing forward. Baby Shark will work elsewhere and is doing at the minute alongside Dash, who is right in amongst sight, looking for trouble.
And the smokes are going down as well, which is beautiful. There's no warden on the other side here. Sees a player and now is going in for a plant himself. Have they got enough cover for him here? Yes, they have, because Hertz has gone down and he stepped forward. They've got enough to watch the doors. They're all smoked off as well. As JV steps on forward and towards the right-hand side, maybe he gets himself caught out, but no. There's Dash coming off the diffuser, trying to get hold of him, but no, put down. And there we go. Kansan steps in. Baby Shark for another wonderful attack out of WILCARD. And they spin it right back on its head, Tim. A flawless round of their own.
Yeah, really like that attack from WILCARD. So they did the same thing that they've done previously. Med noise around White Stairs. Kansan, Bay, Spiker, all working on that side of the map pretty much. And Furia reacting to that. But you know, yeah, there's drones coming down here. There's a bit of action over this side. So the focus is over there, and Dash just kind of quietly wanders in towards sight. Gets himself a kill because they're not ready for it. Baby Shark works his way up blue stairs to have the cover for the plant, and it just worked really, really well because then Furia, they're trying to react to that and filter back into sight where they can hear Dash planting, and Baby Shark, it's an easy pickup for him. So 3-3 at the half, and we're going to switch it around. You feel like it's advantage WILCARD on the back of that.
You'd think so, yeah, with 3 attacks, really impressive. But as I often say, Tim, 2 halves to a game of Siege. Furia could themselves be absolutely electric on the attack of this map. And by the looks of it, they came in pre-prepped with a bunch of ideas on how to defend it, so no doubt they've also got ideas on how to attack it. If they have a good half here, Tim, and come out in a strong position, we're going to Club as their map pick. 2 really interesting bands coming out there, by the way, the Valkyrie and the Flores. Flores, I'm pretty sure that's the first time we've seen him banned here. Valkyrie, it wouldn't surprise me if it's happened in another game. But just, again, not really seeing these 2 as bans at the moment. Valkyrie kind of feels obvious because historically she has been a go-to ban. But I think we've mainly seen other operators creeping into the 4. Things like the Azami have most definitely been up there. Clash, Kaid, Bandit. There's so many other choices that teams normally go towards. So a bit spicy to see that as an option. I wonder why.
Oh, we'll see.
I'll ask Igor after the game. I'm very curious to know why.
Well, I agree with you. Like, a lot of the time you're going to look at Valkyrie and, you know, she's particularly dangerous if you're on a downstairs site because you've then got that verticality to play with. You've got your C4s, you get the cams upstairs. You know, you can tie all that information together. That's going to be less applicable here. It's not to say that Valkyrie's not, you know, valuable or useful. Of course she is. Any intel you can gain in Siege is always going to be helpful. So getting those black eye cams out around this top floor, yes, it's going to give you a good idea, but to a degree, I feel like as well, you know, given what we've seen so far, you can probably make a good guess of what Furia are going to do here. They're going to come in, they're going to try to take games and dorms, they're going to work through into beefing, try to breach through into bathroom. It's what we see the majority of the time. So, yeah, it's an interesting one.
I did just go and check, and it's because on the last 2 times they've played it at this tournament, which was against Elevate and against Falcons, in 4 of their 6 defensive rounds, WILCARD did play Valkyrie, so it does make sense as a counterban. Clearly seeing that WILCARD have got a lot of comfort with it and just taking it off them. Makes sense.
Yeah, fair enough. But I think in doing so, they're going to leave plenty of options for WILCARD, you know, with operators like the Warden, like the Azami, you know, that they're going to be able to bring along, or the Mirror at points as well.
Just didn't want to get shoehorned into playing the IQ, I expect here. They know they've got certain things they want to be achieving here, so why muck around with it and just get that off the line. So on their own attacking side, though, Tim, can't really ignore for Leapox. Often we say that if we see a Raura, you want to say it? Raura. Yes, now that she's on side, when she first came out, I remarked on it, I think it was yesterday we was casting and we saw Raura brought along. Terrible attacking win rate, 33%, lowest of any attacker in the game. She was awful. But I think now that, again, we've had a bit of time to see teams cook with her and come up with some ideas, we are seeing some quite creative strats coming out. And if any team is going to have a creative execute making use of a Raura, it's going to be for Furia and for Leapox in particular, wielding that operator.
So not too much progress in the first minute and a half yet in terms of map control from Furia. They are still mostly outside of the map. JV92, doesn't matter whether he's outside, inside, he's still going to find them kills. Manages to pick up Spiker. That's going to be the smoke off the board. Big loss. A lot of time and space denial there has been taken away with those Toxic Babe canisters going along the same route as Spiker to an early grave. JV92 is just going to continue holding that museum window position just to try and stop, I think, any movement around there and allow Herds to get himself up white stairs.
For sure. Not in a bad spot. And not feeling the need to rush either is probably the important part. You've got rid of the smoke. That's one of the latter round sort of like problems for you. You've now got rid of dash on the Warden. So suddenly things like any flashes they've got become that little bit more potent. Mainly looking at Herds and KZ when they say that one. Certainly no complaints. Looking for another, and sure enough, JV's just a little bit too quick on the trigger. Baby Shark deleted. 2 kills fly back their WILCARD, keeping themselves in the conversation. Furia are down to a 2 versus 2 team. They've lost 3 in a row.
Make that a 2 versus 1. Kansan doing Kansan things. Manages to find himself a double, bringing a little bit of flair to proceedings. 2v1, but Bait is low health. Nade does have a shield, so this is very, very winnable for Nade. Like I say, we've seen him as a clutch machine, but he's up against another one, and that's the problem. Kansan, beautiful shot. Just manages to pick out the little almost a one-tap onto the Blackbeard, and that's going to be WILCARD taking their first defensive round, and certainly look like they're making moves towards winning this first map.
He is really good, Baby Shark. You're absolutely correct. Kansan is pretty cracked. We've seen him hit both of his 4Ks so far in this tournament when we cast him the other day. Man's a bit of a machine when he's in the right mood. It pulls WILCARD up to 4 and 3, so just the 1 round ahead for now. Well, I'm certainly not complaining. And Tim, he's bringing along the Oryx in this round. Now, I'd love to say it's to help deal with shields, and it would be genius. If a team is running a shield and then you play an Oryx on a tight corner, as this map so often gives you, and then can, of course, run around the corner and knock that shield down without really exposing yourself, you probably get a free kill off the back of it. I want to believe it's more for hat chopping and mobility more than anything else, but we'll see.
If we were on the upstairs side, I would say yes. Yeah. I would think it would, because what we've seen so far in Fortress, again in the reverse, is not much play underneath. Not many people going in with Deimos or with Buck and trying to open the floor up. Yeah. So if you're on the top floor, you could easily. We saw a great play. Who was it yesterday that had the pulse underneath? I can't remember, but it was a brilliant play with the pulse playing underneath.
They hit it, didn't they? Yeah.
They got the nitro and they baited him on red stairs and just kind of everything that went with it. It was really, really well worked.
Who did we cash yesterday? NIP versus...
It was Pino. I think it was Pino on the pulse.
It might have been. I'm going to go and check.
Go and have a look, but I think it was NIP and I think it was Pino on the pulse. So my point being there that we're not seeing a lot of bottom floor use, particularly from the attackers, and so we have people like Pino on the pulse if it was him getting that sort of space and freedom, and so an Oryx could get some space and freedom down there. You know, if Kansan was underneath, and then he could hop back up the hatches to get back up to the top floor. But we don't have a top floor side. We've got a bottom floor floor site. So we will keep a close eye on Kansan. He's currently playing out in Hammam, and I genuinely think the view is towards dealing with the shields, especially if he's playing out in Hammam, because you're thinking that's where the entry is going to come in from. We know that they like to jump in through kind of bathroom, through Hammam, and try to work their way through from there, and I think Kansan's just hoping to have a surprise for them.
I think especially true when you know how much confidence Furia play with, where very often they aren't stacking 4 players on a single door and pushing in all together. They do take a lot of map control because they're very, very comfortable and reliant on each other to be able to be capable in those positions. And if someone does die, they're able to get someone else to cover. It's fine. But I think Kansan's kind of looking to capitalize on that more than anything, though, Tim. It's the fact that he's got the ability to go up hatches here. That's why I think he's so far removed from the rest of his team and scattered out around the map. He can cause real bother out here if he manages to find a hatch to hop up.
If he can get up there and maybe come down the blue stairs late in the round, that could be a big play from him. We'll keep an eye on it and we will keep you updated on the situation. For the time being, the Ram has gone in above, so a very different play style here from Furia on the attack, where I commented WILCARD didn't use verticality at all when attacking this site. Furia have gone in there, taken top floor, got the Ram active, the boogie drones have been out, they've got those vertical views down into site. It hasn't gained them much in terms of moving the defenders, because they're all playing further back in the site anyway, where they're underneath briefing and they can't be seen because there's walls in the way. So they're still pretty comfortable, but it might just create some space for Nade to get a plant inside this door, and it looks like that's where it's heading. But where is Kansan?
Well, hopping upstairs right now, Tim is where he is, but he might be a little bit late on this plant. But KZ, I think, knows that he's coming at this point. Spiker manages to deny the plant, at least for now, as Nade falls. So it's a bit of panic stations almost for Furia here, aware that their plan has been thwarted and may yet find themselves stabbed in the back as they start moving forwards here. Kansan's coming up through bathroom. Herds, as you can see, holding the tight handle. Kansan, as you can see, is losing HP, though. It's not looking too good. Dash finding one for himself. Baby Shark into another. WILCARD have held on brilliantly in this round.
Yeah, I think, you've got Spiker to thank for this one with a well-placed Nitro coming through. I don't know if there was maybe a little bit of support from Baby Shark as well. He's got the ward and he was playing shoulder to shoulder with Spiker at the time, so will have been able to see through the smoke, maybe give a little bit of direction. But by dropping that diffuser inside a site, it's kind of left Furia without a hope. They'd prepared everything for getting that plant down. They'd got the vertical open. Hello. We've got the they got the vertical open up above. They'd got the door smoke. Everything was around getting that plant down. And when Spiker hits that Nitro, it kind of falls apart for them. So unfortunate from Furia, and a good defense from WILCARD. Very, very solid. Avoiding the vertical pressure. Kansan, it was worth a try. They were ready for it. It didn't work out, but the rest of the round did.
You guys are lucky. I'm normally half naked on the cast. Let's get on here and whip the top off. Tim loves it.
I do. It's true.
You did that through a broken smile.
No, it's true.
Here's a attack time at Fury, in case you can't tell. Swag level 9,000. Glasses game very high. Beard game on point. Why can't you be like that, Tim?
Because I don't have a beard.
You could grow one.
I could.
You get a bit of stubble.
I always have that. I can't be clean shaven.
Why?
Because if I'm clean shaven, I look like I'm back at high school or something.
You look like an egg.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So
egg Tim.
Hard-boiled ace.
Hard-boiled ace.
I do have a ponytail though.
Yeah, that's an old meme and it checks out.
It is.
For those who don't know, back when we were in EUL back in, 2020, 2021, there was always a joke that Tim had a ponytail. Obviously, he was bald, and he had a ponytail at the back. And he'd always be like, you're going to see it, start turning his head.
You can't prove that I don't, because you only see the front of me.
This is it. You just don't actually know. Like, it's like Schrodinger's ponytail. Until you actually check, you can't confirm, but no one can really check. Spoils the mystery. Fair to say, WILCARD have had a wonderful first couple of rounds, though. Furia are struggling to get that first attack. They're attacking well, I think. The way they've approached the rounds is good. It's just that WILCARD have always had a plan. And part of the struggle here for Furia, I imagine, is as much as you've had a chance to look at how WILCARD play this map, over the course of the last couple of days, they've played it twice already. This is their third time playing this map. They still can't quite seem to unravel the defenses. WILCARD have always got new tricks and ideas up their sleeve on how to keep Furia at bay. And not at bay, the player, just, kept away.
Very good. Okay, Nade's going to be on the shield again. Now the third round in a row with Simblitz. Got Blackbeard. See if he can have any more impact. Last time they tried to kind of use it to brute force into sight and get the plant there. Last time didn't work out as the Nitro stopped him in his tracks. and this time they could really do with using it to grab some ground. It's going to be dorms and games that they're attacking onto, and they're very much shaping up quite a direct push towards site at the minute, unless things change.
For sure. Going in towards this combo of the Dokkaebi and the Lion. Again, it's all about, I feel like a lot of this map is becoming about this as well. It is that sort of air quotes roamer control. Like every team is leaning in towards Dokkaebi, who's doing a lot of Deimos on it as well. Shields, of course, to help take control of large parts of the map. And part of me wants to know if that's going to be the standard, or if it's just while teams are getting more comfortable with the map. I imagine over time it could evolve. But definitely in the early days, you will see a lot of shields. You will see a lot of intel operators coming out, just to kind of smooth over the cracks of learning to attack onto this site overall. Do the lion sound effect for me, Tim.
Oh, it's just... I don't know what it is. To do it, it's just a basic noise, isn't it? KZ's going to pick up Kansan there. And looking for a second as well. In goes the Dokkaebi call as well, so that's going to be everybody's phones vibrating for the time being. Bay and Dash have both rejected that call. They're going to be having none of it. And falling back to site at the minute here, WILCARD kind of trying to hold on because there's a lot of pressure mounting from that bathroom and command side. KZ's going to work his way into briefing pretty soon. There we go, managing to get the kill onto Baby Shark. 5 versus 3 now. Furia, they're moving as a pack at the minute.
They are, which is quite a rare thing for them. I said they normally take large parts of the map control with different players in different locations, but here they are quite... It's more, I think, a product of the map. They have to be together. But look at that. WILCARD explode out. 2 kills coming to themselves, almost a third, and it was almost the Blackbeard they got offline, Tim, but Dash, not quite sure what you're after there, buddy. Yeah. I won't lie.
I don't know why Dash has gone on the sprint at you. Like, he's seen the man go out of the window. He's done the damage. Like, just you know, take your wins, Bay. He's going to find 2 wins. Can he find a third? 2 versus 1 now. Spiker is in support as well. Philippe on that door. Bay with a triple.
Oh my god! Oh my god, bro.
Yo, guys.
Just when it's needed, manages to close it out for WILCARD, but yeah, Dash, I think, just a little bit overexcited to get that kill. You know, if I get shot going out of a window, I'm definitely going to turn around and wait for somebody to peek their head into it, so I'm sure he'll learn a lesson from that one. 6-3 WILCARD, 3 chances now for them to close out Fortress and go 1-0 against Furia. As a reminder to everybody, this match is important. They are both fighting over that top spot in the group, and what does that mean? What does that get you? It gets you a bye in the upper bracket, so you move on to the second round of the upper bracket. And why is that important? It's not just because you're in the upper bracket, but it's because you are 1 win away from the live stage, and that's where everybody wants to be.
I love how you asked yourself about 3 questions during that and answered each and every single one.
Like I say,
it's almost like you're meant to have someone next to you that you can converse with and ask questions to and get answers from.
You never asked me the right ones.
Why are you bald, Tim?
See? Genetics.
Apparently you don't need me anymore.
I do.
I can just sit here and say nothing if you like. I can just shut up.
Nah, I definitely do.
Why?
Because we just compliment each other really well, for an honest answer.
I never compliment you.
No, we do.
No, I don't. I'm always horrible to you.
For an honest answer, we just do. Where my weaknesses, you know, where I have weaknesses, your strengths pick up those areas.
Oh, you can't take it down like the nice sentimental route.
Well,
I feel bad being mean.
Well, there you go. I know how to play this game, Des. Yeah. I've been playing it with you for a lot of years.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. That is true. By which I more mean I drag you down the path of chaos every now and then and try and derail things, and then you're always the one who has to get it back on track.
I love a slow motion celebration.
It's the sound that comes with it that really makes for it. Beautiful.
Twitch drop.
Yes.
Going to be sent in to have a look for some util. We've got WILCARD now defending command and bathroom, and they do have a presence over in game and Dawn. Baby Shark and Kansan are playing down there for the time being.
Tim, will you hold the mute button for me for a second, please?
Yeah,
thanks,
I
mate.
can. It probably came through on my
It definitely did.
So basically, Des is opening a canned drink, so he's worried about the. So but it's difficult. I did this the other day. If you do your own mute button, you've got to do the can with one hand, and then you've got the risk of like spilling the can. So I risked it the other day and got away with it. Dez had just asked me to press his mute button for him. I didn't think about the fact that I was leaning right over the top of the can with my microphone to press his mute button, and mine was not pressed. So I'm an idiot.
Your words, not mine, Tim. Your words, not mine.
That was very stupid of me.
3-round deficit for Furia to try and close here, which I don't think they're going to be able to do given how effectively WILCARD have been defending. They still look like a team that's playing it for the first time and catching teams by surprise, despite this being, as I've said, the third time they're playing the map this week. And look at this. Dash is ready. He's being challenged. We've seen kills already won from this position previously, Tim. But Dash is a bit too wise too. Ain't giving up his life, and Philippox can't easily move forward unless he gets this kill. Almost gets his man. Both players taking damage. But Dash is wasting so much time here. There's only 75 seconds left.
Yeah, that's the thing. We're talking about nearly 2 minutes wasted at this point. Philippox is, he's firm in it. He's trying to carry on here. It shows how critical this area is to the strat overall. They don't want to give it up. JV92 manages to get Bay elsewhere, but Kansan does find one of his own onto Nade. It's, however, all going in the direction of Furia. Philippox clearing Dash out is big. 3 versus 2. Baby Shark taken down by Hurts.
Very nice.
JV92 with the last. Great execution there. Great collapse from Furia.
That was much more Furia as well, where they've got 3 or 4 different positions all being pushed at the same time, and they just completely overwhelm the defenders. There is nowhere that you can move without being caught in someone's sight line, and you know the outcome from there against a team of hot gunners. They just bring you down in a flash. Really good round from Furia, despite the pressure being shown by WILCARD. Defended well, but just couldn't hold off the onslaught. Down we go to that first floor again, Tim. It's going to be waiting room and cafeteria here in round 11.
So last time around, when attacking this, Furia struggled a little bit. They went for the top floor control. They opened things up with the RAM. They're not bringing along the RAM at the minute, so I think we're going to see a slightly different process from them because they basically use the RAM to open things up, smoke off the door, try to go in with the shield of Nade and put the diffuser down. Spiker playing deep back there in the far side of the site was able to hit a nitro all the way through, and it just didn't work out for Furia. So this time they have dropped the RAM. They are foregoing the shield of Nade. That's going to move across to the Capitao. The Deimos has been dropped. The Deimos was an interesting one. I was going to talk about that one because KZ was upstairs last time on a different operator, but I thought maybe they're going to try and, work through that soft surface with the Deimos instead. They've decided to drop that. Philippox is still going to be the focus with those light screens, so we need to keep an eye on where he goes. I'm kind of expecting those still around side door to try and, create some confusion. I think they've played with the sense this time rather than the smoke because they know that WILCARD have been bringing the Warden, and I think the Warden was what gave intel last time around through the smoke. So Dash taken down, and
don't let the bedbugs bite.
They're not going to have the freedom of that Warden being able to feed info through if they're looking through sense light screens.
Yeah, I mean, Dash has been absolutely slapped there to start things off as well. A cozy entry gets Furia going in the right direction. Speaking of entry, I was quite curious to see how it's played out because we saw a good start across the first couple of rounds from WILCARD, and since then it has been all up Furia. They have 7 of the last 9 entry kills. So if you're looking for early round domination, well, the answer is right there in front of your eyes, which kind of speaks volumes to how well WILCARD have played to keep themselves in the lead here. The ability to win these rounds 4v5 has been really impressive.
It has. Herds is just moving towards Kansan's position. On the Oryx there. Oh, he's downstairs actually. Sorry, I was looking on the top down. It looked like he was upstairs, so Kansan is, for the time being, going to be safe. However, JV92 is moving. Which would you rather? Would you rather Herds or would you rather JV just chasing you down?
Both suck.
I'm going to go for neither. So Kansan does take that fight a little bit, drops back into Hammam. He's just trying to kind of keep his position loose here, keep himself moving around. He may well choose to move upstairs at a point as well, but it just keeps Furia guessing and wastes a bit of time.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's about, right? If you're not seeing them run a docker because you banned it away, you have to play the map. You don't ban that operator and then sit on site. It is completely pointless. And this is why Kansan has been so aggressive out around the map. He's just trying to run that clock down. We saw it from Dash a little bit in the last round when he was playing really aggressively in towards Blue Tower. Spiker getting one back onto Herds as well, equalizing things at 4 apiece here. Furia got to go big in the last 60 seconds if they want to keep this game going.
Spiker's absolutely lethal from that position. He plays just outside of sight, and he's just a nightmare there. Kansan manages to get one.
Trade.
Trade is there immediately from Felipox. We've seen the light screens deployed as well. He is playing around that door that I suggested he might onto site. The last time they went with smokes, this time they're going with that. Mainly probably because the warden has been brought along and they'd seen it previously from Baby Shark, so it just gives them an option to avoid those problems. And it's also allowing them to block off a couple of doorways. Felipox manages to take down Bay 3 versus 2. We've also got Baby Shark and Nate down at the same time, so effectively 1v2 here for Spiker. He's fighting all he can. He goes to the nitro. Look, sometimes you make the choice. We've all been there. As soon as the utility's in your hand, the bullets come flying and you lose your life and wish that you still had your gun. But that's going to be another round for Furia. 2 in a row gets them back to 6-5. Only one more chance at this for WILCARD to close out Fortress in regulation.
They're getting it done, aren't they, Tim? 2 rounds back-to-back, and given they were down 6-3, I thought, man, I don't see them being able to win out all 3, but here they are with 2 of them. 1 more to go, and overtime will be on the way. I'd imagine we'll see WILCARD starting on the defense when we get to that point. It was their map pick, so Furia get to pick the side in regulation. They chose to start on defense. And then the one who picked the map, which is WILCARD, they get to pick what side they start on in OT. And I think it would be madness to pick to start on attack on a new map like this. Yes, indeed, they're on defense.
Only 4 entry kills for WILCARD so far in 11 rounds.
Yep.
Not good at all. So keep your eye on that at the beginning of this one. Maybe they can get themselves off to a slightly better start. But it's kind of a weird game, really. Everyone on both teams really getting involved. I'm just kind of looking through the scoreboard, and there's nobody that's like, you know, wildly standing out. About the best you've got is Baby Shark on 10. But you've got 8s, you've got 9s, you've got 6s. Like, it is very close, and I love that because what it's saying is, you know, these are 2 very complete teams with everybody getting involved. They're supporting each other, they're working with each other. There's a lot of coordination and teamwork going on, and it's not reliant on any 1 or 2 individuals just kind of going crazy. So love to see that from both of these, and honestly, it makes both of them a big shout for the tournament for me.
It does. I've said from the early days, I think WILCARD are looking for a top 4 finish here, both with the way that they're playing and how put together they look. Like, the problem is there's a few teams that I kind of include in that. I'd love to see Weibo make a big run this tournament as well. FaZe, I think, are very inevitably going to be one of our finalists. It just feels they are on a different level at points throughout this tournament. It makes for an interesting one. You know, Falcons are probably the team that I'm not including in my top 4 at the minute based on how they're playing, but given their domination over Daystar earlier, maybe there's something there for how well they'll play coming into the next stages. Here we go, Tim. Fast push coming in, but Kansan already going down here to JV. That's not too great for them. In to try and look for the plant, but can't quite find it. I think, in fact, he was just going in for the shield because it's not the site, Tim. But it's about to get... That is such a common execute that I was like, oh, they're executing here. They're absolutely not. They just wanted to give the Glaz room to get in and make use of the gun there, and it did work because they found 2 kills, Tim.
Big double there to bring it back to 3 versus 3 though. WILCARD holding on for the time being. It is still going to be the problem for them with that shield. Going to be something that they need to deal with.
Nice.
Spiker manages to take him down as I'm saying it.
He ran
How
into
many
an
big moments is he going to have? Absolutely phenomenal tournament from him, and it continues. Takes down the Monte, drops the diffuser down. 1:30 left, so Furia have got time in this 2v3, and they've got the glass, which is a big help to them. But other than that, WILCARD can just start digging in a little bit now.
Again, it's a bottleneck, Tim. They've run into an Elamine there with a shield, which has moved it out the way, and Spiker, so hot on the trigger, has just caught his man at the exact right moment. That is the danger of leaning too hard on these shields, and Spiker is going big in just the round they need him. He's already found himself 2, could look to make it a 3rd as Felipox has got to save the round for his team. 3 more to find on this glass. That feels like a tall order.
1v3 incoming, 54 seconds left to go. That's what the Furia fans will be hoping, but I'm not sure they're going to get it, if I'm honest. He's now taking fire. They know exactly where he is. It's that man again. Triple at the end. Huge finish from Spiker. When WILCARD needed it, they take map 1. Fortress is theirs.
I really love seeing that Spiker can deliver to this level too. You know, we spoke a lot about his abilities in IGL. When he first appeared, there were questions, you know, will he be that IGL that can stand up there with the greats? That, I think, has already been answered over the last year, and now he's putting on a bit of a spectacle when it comes to his stats throughout the competition. Wonderful stuff. Very rounded team performance from both teams, as you said, Tim, a 7-5. Who knows what happens on club?
Yeah, I think, again, we're going to see a really close matchup. I do kind of give Furia the edge on club, but yeah, overall, I can't see this becoming one-sided, to be honest. I said map 3 at the beginning. I still think we're going to get map 3. Maybe we can get 15 rounds in map 3. Maybe it comes down to 1 round. 1v1 for Leapox versus Spike.
Battle of the IGLs will be absolutely phenomenal, but here are those stats that we've been speaking about. And again, you can just see how close the two teams are. Lowest of 6 to 9 on one side. And yes, Baby Shark went particularly nuclear, but otherwise it's between 5 and 9 on his team side. Just, again, an amazing game between both teams, and really hope we see the same quality on club.
JV going crazy on the entry as well. 5 where nobody else got more than 1. So it's, overall, 8-4 on the entry, not good for Wildcard. That's something they need to address.
It does go to show that entries aren't always what makes a game, but the series is still underway. Let's not forget again, we've got potentially 2 more maps to go. Club's ready after a break. We're back with you in just a few.
Maria with a cake. You know what time it is. Birthday time. Today is Twister's birthday. Let's go. Cadê ele? Where is him? Where is him? Ô, Twister, chegou o teu momento. He didn't notice me. Ô, Twister, todo mundo? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Twister. Happy birthday to you. Woo! Vai. Woo! So, boa. I'm not gonna ask you your wish because it might be to lift a hammer, but you are doing so great in secret, so that might happen.
Yeah, exactly. I think like in the moment right now, the team is just flowing, so I'm very happy with the results. And for sure, if I have one thing to ask, is just the biggest achievement of my career. What is that?
You have won all of your games, also Flux, and you are playing against them today. It might be a gift to also win over them.
Exactly. If we win today against them, I think it's a good showing for the team to go through groups without a single loss, and also to boost the confidence of the group for the playoffs. So, yeah, a big gift.
Who should be more worried, you or them?
Who should be more what, sorry?
Worried.
Worried. I think Dan right now, they had like a few shaky games, but I still think it will be a good game. Maybe even a 3 maps game, but we might get it.
Let's not talk about game. Just like you have some lunch. What is the gift you're gonna give him for his birthday?
A win.
So beautiful, so beautiful. Happy birthday, Twister.
Every Six Invitational final is a storm of pressure, a clash of tension. They leave a mark that doesn't fade.
Boston, are you ready? The Six Invitational 2025 begins now!
We need to want it, CSI. We need to want it.
Everybody always talks about being mentally prepared for a game.
Welcome back to the Theatre of Dreams for one of these teams to take the top spot in this group and get that upper bracket round to bye going into playoffs. I'm Dez, this is Tim, and you are watching Furia versus WILCARD. We just had a great map of Fortress Tim. It was WILCARD's map pick, and they prevailed, winning 7-5. But Furia showed they've most definitely got teeth, and now that we're going into their map pick, they start on the attack of Clubhouse. I think it's fair to say this isn't over just yet. I would be very, very surprised if we don't see all 3 maps.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. Furia certainly kind of take the edge. It's not a massive one, really. If we look at the recent history, Furia are 2-1 on Clubhouse, whereas it's 2-3 for WILCARD. So they've played it more, but you know, if you have a look at those wins, the last win was against Cyclops for Furia. It was 8-6. They were taken to overtime. I'm not saying that it's certainly not a guaranteed win for Furia, is what I will say. You know, this is very possible, realistically, for WILCARD to come out and get a win here. They did lose it against Falcons earlier in the week, so, you know, maybe that doesn't bode too well for them. But other than that, I think that they could do something here.
I think so as well, but I think Fury will have workshopped this map. They'll have got us a nice little surprise coming into it as Ultim. Like, there's no way that you pick this as a map that's quite low down your preference order unless you know that you've got something in store for the other side. So maybe it's a bit of counter prep. Clearly the audience are very much behind Furia here as well. Why wouldn't you be? They are one of the best in the world, but let's find out if they can do it, Tim. Let's go with Club. There's a big problem, Tim.
What's that, Des? What's the big problem?
The shit tons of Kinder Choco Bomb wrappers that are on the desk in front of me. I'm an addict.
Stop eating them then.
I can't help it, Tim. I was going to grind them down and just... No, I'm not going to go there, actually. Forget about that one. That's probably a little bit too adult. They're just too good is the problem. And I keep grabbing like 3 or 4 every time I walk past the little like sweet station we've got outside.
418 of them.
There's a reason why the big massive wooden tub we've got is nearly empty. I'll say that much.
And it's
I might eat one. You can introduce the game.
Bans have come through. The Electro Bros are gone. Cade and Bandit will not be appearing in this clubhouse. And then on the other side, Thermite and Grim have been taken away. Thermite's a choice. I think now that he's got 3 exothermics, definitely sort of more relevant in terms of bans and things like that. You know, for a basement, for example, yep, you could do all 3 hatches now where you couldn't do before. Generally, for a hard breach on clubhouse, we'd see the lean be towards Hibana, I think, for the ban. But when you look at those top floor walls, I think that, like I said, that extra exothermic makes a big difference. Because there's 3 top floor walls that you want to breach. There is construction wall, there is jacuzzi wall, and there is cash wall. Sorry, CCTV wall. They're the 3 that you really want to be breaching. And being able to get a full-size exothermic breach on each of them is a pretty big deal. So I think we are going to start seeing an increased ban rate for Thermite here on Clubhouse.
I agree with you, Tim, and I think you'll see it on a number of maps, to be fair. On here, it's especially strong because attacking on the top floor, you can open up Jacuzzi, you can get yourself the main cash CC wall opened up, you can go for the single VIP wall. That's a lot for one hard breacher to be able to get done, and what used to take 2, you can now get done with 1. So you are going to see him repeatedly taken away. You know, we've seen his pick rate shoot up this tournament as a result of the changes. Hibana is certainly no slouch either. Let's not forget she also has a DMR available to her now, which has certainly seen pick rates increase on her, on things like Capital that you're also seeing brought along in this round. So it's been a small reordering, I'd say, in the preference of a lot of operators for a good number of teams, and Thermite, he's definitely up there with ones that they love.
Hibana's a great solo queue operator. If you're a player out there that plays solo queue, great solo queue operator now. She's so self-sufficient, you know, with having that DMR, fantastic weapon, the hard breaching. She can do an awful lot by herself. So definitely worth a look if it's maybe somebody. I think sometimes Hibana can feel like a really aggressive choice as well, and it's. You know, you kind of got to be going, taking fights, but not always the case. There's a fight missed there. Kansan does pick up Herds, though, and he's just continuing on inside of sight here, being challenged. He's gone to the pistol against the shield. He's put some damage in. Baby Shark manages to finalise the kill. Kansan just will not be stopped, and Furia have tried aggressively to get into this jacuzzi side of things, and so far it's not really paid off.
They're being bullied, Tim. They're like absolute rings run around them by Kansan there on the Scoposs. One wall to the other, giving them absolutely nothing. And it's into a 4v2 before you even started looking towards the site. That reminder, as you can see on your screen now, we are attacking the basement, but Furia just haven't got the tools to get the job done anymore.
Just going to be racing JV92 towards those bottom red stairs. I don't know. He's being cautious. I think he does know. I think he's not sure. He knows there's somebody around this area. He's going to take the fight and win it. Good pickup. Bay does do a little bit of damage in return though, so not ideal, and this is what WILCARD can do now. They can just fight this as a war of attrition, just little by little, death by 1,000 cuts, just go through and just keep chipping that damage away as they try to push forward.
Yeah, it's just one of those now where they might have got something back and they've got a couple of health bars damaged. Clock's now starting to come into effect, mind you, as the last smoke comes on through. Fire's still burning out, and look at this, Kansan really fancying his chance of getting a backstab, but they've dug deep inside of Memorial here. It's JV in particular who's dug him. You got Nade still working his way through Garage, but they're going to run out of time here, Tim. They've really got to move quick.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to get this done. They've got to go through the barbed wire as well. Charge comes in. Nade gets dashed, but Spiker elsewhere again, just getting those solid backline kills for his team. It's a double at the end of the round to close it out. WILCARD 1-0.
Fantastic start. Really, really good start to the round itself as well. Again, the dancing around upstairs. 3 kills coming out. Completely took the wind out of Furia's sails. Never really got a chance to look at the site until the very end. And even then, it was an uphill struggle in a 2 versus 4. Almost recovered it, but not quite able to get there. Going to find ourselves going up to Cash and CC here in round 2. And again, this is where we spoke a lot about the Thermite ban. This, I think, is where you'll see a bit of impact of that. They're going along with the Hibana, but we'll be shocked if we don't see some hard breach gadgets coming along as well.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. I think you know, if you've got your hard breach gadgets, it just gives you a different option for the for the lower garage walls. If you're wanting to open those up, try and get underneath exactly those. Thank you very much, Maddox. If you're wanting to open those up, I think you rarely need a full breach on them, is what I would say. You know, either way, whether you want the top corner to be able to look on to catwalk window, or whether you want the bottom left corner to be able to walk on in there, you can pretty much do either with heart breach charges. So we'll see if any do get brought along or not. But there is going to be an Ace and a Hibana as our final picks. Yeah, we've got hard breach charges on Herds as well, so plenty of options there for Furia on the attack.
This is interesting on the defense as well. You've seen the castle barricades going down around Lounge on towards the main door. Haven't seen this set up for quite a while. I want to say even like a few years that I've seen this employed. The goal really being what you're trying to do is deny them from getting in underneath, opening up verticals, and really punishing you by forcing the clash back and away, for example. So the longer you can hold on downstairs, the better. You can also look towards things like C4s on Kansan, who's got away with using that bow. Not forgetting that was banned away against them on Fortress by Furia. So Furia know this is in their wheelhouse, but there is no IQ on side to help deal with that.
Herd's already moving into the map. He's going to be making his way through. He's got support from Nade as well, both pushing across that top floor. They've actually been able to take that quite quickly, but they are going to now meet a little bit of a roadblock. Dash goes around the corner, not really ready for the fight there. It was like he thought there could be somebody in position. They've also lost the clash as well. Kansan's in position here to find himself out of this round pretty quickly, unless he scurries to safety, which he does. But Spiker taken out of Catwalk, and whatever Wildcard had set up, it has not worked.
I can't really discern exactly what happened there, because they knew that Nade had got into top main and had taken out one of the players, and then they just got completely rolled over inside a bedroom. Casey was on the south balcony and also managed to find 2 kills out there. Just a very weird defense overall that Furia just rolled straight through.
I think Furia just won those gunfights up on the top floor, and it kind of created chaos then, because as they get the 2 kills, people are then trying to relocate. I think losing the clash was a big one. You know, they kind of then trying to relocate quickly and just got picked off as they did. So it was great stuff from Furia, kind of moving as a team again, but in those separate locations. So they've got the different angles to pick off when people are rotating. Good stuff from them. And we see ourselves now moving to Gym and Bedroom.
Do indeed. This is the site that I thought we might see second, and this is actually the second team over the last couple of days in the form of Wildcard that have gone towards Cash and CC first, and then Gym and Bedroom has been their tertiary choice, which normally you'd see kind of a bounce between the basement and Gym and Bedroom as the primary site. So that has somewhat surprised me, and maybe the last round some evidence towards why it should remain the case that they are the 2 primary sites, but I digress. We'll see how they go for Gym and Bedroom. I imagine we'll have an extended hold out towards the east, given we have a bunch of reinforcements out here. And this, again, is just to try and waste time. If you can soak a bunch of drones and nades and even potentially a couple of kills out here to the east, you leave the attackers a little bit short when it comes to hitting the site itself. So it's very, very common these days to see teams holding at least with 2 players, often 3, out towards this east side of the map and looking to waste time.
Setting up a sequential breach.
Conscious of any run out coming from Kitchen Corridor. Have the defense mostly as we would expect set up in Cash, Red Stairs and site itself. So there's no presence really around the map, nothing for Furia to worry themselves with. I think as soon as they've done their first bit of drawing, which they seem to have completed now, they will be happy to start pushing forward with a little bit more speed. They've got the CCTV wall open so they can start working towards Cash. Given that they've got the ace on side, I'd expect JV to be opening up the Cash wall as well to make it difficult for Kansan to play inside of there. And that's exactly what he's doing as we speak. We just see his silhouette off to the right of the screen there, getting that job done. And that is, once the Zoto canisters wear off, going to make it a little bit more difficult for Kansan to stay in place. But KZ manages to find bait elsewhere. That's the Wamai off the line. Couple of magnets lost as well that will have generated later in the round. Herds picks up Spiker, and it's starting to look a little bit more difficult for Wildcard.
I love the absolute confidence that especially Herds put the whole team have played with in this round. Very commonly, you have to get control of Cash CC first and then be able to play on the balcony. But he has basically started the round on that balcony, fully trusting that KZ, or JV, sorry, would have the angle and be able to make sure no one could push onto him. He's got 3 kills on that south balcony before he's finally been stopped. But the round is over because yet again, Kansan is left in a 1vx that he simply cannot win. A dominant round for Furia, and honestly, probably slamming the brakes on here if I was in wildcard shoes, because those last 2 rounds have been calamitous.
Yeah, I think you get a tactical timeout in here because Furia are starting to roll with a bit of a different confidence here than we've seen so far out of them today. Getting a couple of rounds in quick succession, aggressively taking gunfights, just looking that little bit different. So, yeah, I think certainly has to be a consideration. Doesn't look like... Oh, no, it is coming in. There we go. No surprises.
Not at all from me. And again, we can't really hear them, so we won't obviously sit here in silence and just let you listen to a bit of white noise, essentially. It's been those last 2 rounds to me that really kind of define how this is going to go if they're not too careful, because Furia have just, again, played with such confidence. I never see teams drop a player on towards that south balcony so early in the round and just assume, okay, that all will get opened on towards onto CC platform, and they'll watch the angle and ensure no one else can run out. And then from that south balcony, you get 3 kills with 1 player. It's absolutely ludicrous. Herds has done really well, but also a big shout out to JV and KZ, who made sure that cash CC area was never going to be a threat to him. So kind of a few expect from Furia, and I'm very, very curious to see how Wildcard adapts. I do expect we'll go back down to the basement again, where they looked all right back in round 1. That's a bit too much 7-Up sugar-free for me, I think, Tim, unfortunately.
Other drinks are available.
Other drinks are available. Is indeed down to church. We're going to head into here. So, let's see how they turn their fortunes around, Tim. It's got to change now. Attack timeout is the best time to do it. Then when they had that attack timeout back on Fortress, Furia came out in the next round and just absolutely bowled over them. So, tentatively, I'm optimistic for them, Tim, but nothing is guaranteed.
Personally, I think we're going to see Furia start to run away with this map. I think they're going to put down a couple more rounds. Like I said, they're just looking like a little bit of a different beast over those last couple, and I think it could be difficult now to stand in their way. Like trying to stand in the way of a runaway train sometimes. This Furia side. So Church and Arsenal will be the next defensive side for Wildcard. They were able to win it back in round 1. The problem that Wildcard have got is they've kind of burnt their opportunities. So for me, Furia have reached their kind of minimum threshold. On attack, I think realistically they want 3 minimum. But, you know, with defense to look forward to, they can kind of, you know, work with 2+. So they're not in a terrible situation no matter what happens. And I think there's definitely another round or 2 coming their way. And that's the problem for Wildcard, because then Furia are going to move on to the defense, and I'm expecting them to be very good here on the defense. Only needing to pick up maybe 2 or 3 rounds is going to make it very, very difficult. So Wildcard, they need at least 2 more. I feel like they've got, you know, maybe 1 mistake. You could go in at 3-3 and maybe still have a chance, but they don't really have much wiggle room anymore.
No. And to tell you what, someone asked a question in chat called GG Tim, so I kind of feel like I have to respond to it, given the name, Tim.
GG.
Absolutely. Asking, you know, what's the hum that you hear when we're sat in between rounds? It's because we open up the mics around the teams themselves so we can hear what they're trying to say sometimes. It's always good to hear the comments that are made, sort of things that they're talking about, but to do it, we have to really expose those microphones because players can talk quite quietly and they aren't immediately in front of their face, so the humming that you hear is all the background noise that those mics are picking up as well. A little bit behind the wall, a bit behind the curtain information for you there.
Shield pushing forward for Leapox again. We've seen him not too successful on the shield so far, to be fair. The rounds have been won, but not always too successfully because of the Blackbeard. And we'll keep an eye on his progress. Currently inside of construction. Nitro goes out, not going to be successful. Baby Shark does, however, manage to pick up Herds. That's the IQ gone. So that's going to give a little bit of breathing space. It's an interesting kill there, really, because you've got sort of a duel between these direct counters to each other. The Solus and the IQ, of course, able to pick up each other's electronic gadgets. I believe IQ's got the greater range, but for Solus to go in there and get the kill, very nicely done. And it also might just keep some more of those Falcons safe as well if they've not already been dealt with.
Now, across those first 3 rounds, we've also seen the round won by the team that got the entry kill. Ain't got to be a genius to then count and say, oh, Fury got the entry in 2 rounds and Wildcard in 1 then, Des. Yep, you're absolutely correct. And in this round, Wildcard have got the entry. So maybe that's a good sign if you are a Wildcard fan. But of course, Fury can always upset the apple cart and turn that around. Spiker doing his best to try and stave off for Leapox there. Really just giving him a very, very light scratch and no serious damage coming on through. At the same time, Casey starts his march on forwards in towards Generator. Right sort of idea. Nade finding Spiker, down goes the Goyo. Things all even at 4 apiece, Tim, but there's not a lot of time to work with.
Nade manages to get another, and the kills start coming as they flood into sight here. Furia just looking for one after another and finding them. JV with the latest of those. Nade is going to be in position to start putting that diffuser down, and B, he has to start fighting back on the score pass. Manages to get one. That's now a 1v3, becomes a 1v2. Still got Nade and JV to find. His problem is that they are now both established post-plant. Would like to have seen one of them try and get upstairs, to be honest. JV is at the main stairs and hold on to that diffuser from above, but I don't think it's going to be the end of the world. Bay steps out. JV finds the kill. I guess when you're as good as those guys, you don't need to worry about holding the vertical angle. You just think, I'm going to stand here and take the fight.
We said it a little bit during our game yesterday, the discipline that you see out of top teams when they've got these situations where they've got crossfires being held, like a 3v1. Very rarely do you see teams clutch against them because they're so good at not being exposed. And I think it was back on Chalet we saw this. There was a player on West Main challenging on towards Solar Stairs, and there was a player above, there was a player off towards his right. And the player on Solar, despite knowing exactly where this guy was because he was taking shots at him, didn't swing out. He let Vidaking get the... In fact, it was FaZe. Yeah, they got the kill from above with Vidaking. And at the time I was saying, you know, other teams there would probably swing out from Solar thinking, yeah, 3-2-1, let's swing now and we'll go for it. They didn't feel the need to. They just sat there and waited for him to kind of outplay himself, gave Vidaking a bit of a freebie. And I think you've seen a bit of that from Fury there. They've let Bay play in towards them because they know exactly what he's going to do. The only move he can really make is to push into them inside of the hallway. And they basically guarantee a 2 versus 1. Really smart stuff. Fury up 3-1. And most critically, Tim, they win both after losing the entry and off the back of a wildcard tack timeout. It's not looking good for the North American side.
No, it's really not at the minute. Really not. We'll see whether, you know, maybe they can improve things over the next couple of rounds. But if you remember, I said the minimum they needed to be aiming for was 3. So that's their other mistake now gone. They have no more chances, no more lives, really. I think if they go into this second half 4-2 or worse, it's going to be a real struggle and probably a matter of time until we see Chalet. But we kind of expected that from the beginning of this matchup. On the attack then, Furia once again moving quickly, moving with purpose, going straight towards that master bedroom side. They had a lot of success there. Get into the master side, through gym as well, sweep across into construction and start to apply pressure to site from there. Do of course need to get that CCTV wall open as well. JV's just moved around to do exactly that. He's going to use the Maverick this time to get that done. And it's, again, just going to force the defenders out of there. We can see that's happened. I think it was Baby Shark who was in there, but he's now dropped towards top red.
It is quite crazy how this is only the 6th preference map for Furia based on their banning record and their successes over the last 6 months on this map. They look so comfortable on it. Like, I remember when I first watched this team played, I think it was on the map of Bank the first time I ever saw this roster play. And I remember saying at the time, it feels like you're playing against 10 players and they're coming out the walls at you when they're on the attack. And it feels very, very similar on Club. Just the pressure they build up at all times is absolutely insane. Probably because, as I spoke about back on Fortress, very rarely do you see them group up as 3 or 4 and push together. They're working either in pairs or off by themselves, pushing into different parts of the map. In fact, I'd say here, this first half of the round with 3 players focusing on this East Plat, that's like one of the only times I think I've seen them grouped as a 3 or a 4 around the same point for more than maybe 30 seconds or so.
Yeah, I'm 1 minute 15 left to go. I'm a little bit concerned for Fury here. They're very much all crowded around this breach. That's absolutely crazy. Kansas going to take the Leapox down. Herds manages to get one, but WILCARD is standing up to this. And I'm just not sure that Fury have done enough. But KZ has got up to the top of Red Stairs. Now joined by JV92. Could be problematic, but no. They've been able to hold on to it. And Fury just haven't done enough work here, Des, realistically. They've tried to just go straight on into site. No, look at the contrast compared to last time they attacked that side. No pressure through Master, no pressure through Construction, not the end of the world, but if you're going to just go directly for CCTV, we all know you need Garage Catwalk. They haven't touched it. You know, about the best they've done is go in through Lounge and then up Red Stairs, but for me, far too one-dimensional for Furia, and they got what they asked for.
Yeah, I mean, what I love about that, and we saw it perfectly on the overhead, thank you very much, Medics, for that one, was Dash attempting to run out. As they hit go and threw the smokes down, he ran out of storage door to try and hit them. They knew immediately, and they were just like, well, hang on a minute. So 2 of them had to hold back. The problem in doing that is 2 of them were then pulled away from the execute itself, which meant there wasn't enough pressure going in towards site. So yes, Dash did die. Yes, he is 0 and 5, but he broke up that execute before it really had a chance to get going. So really well played by him and the rest of the WILCARD there. Very much in sync in how they were going to respond to Fury's execute.
Yep, well played from WILCARD. Held on nicely. So they're going to be looking for one more. Final defense now will be Gym and Bedroom. Like you say, it was Herds getting picked up as well at the same time. He kind of went to have a look at what was going on that storage door, and that's when he gets taken down. So very, very disruptive from Dash, as you say. Gym and bedroom. So what happened here last time around? Furia were able to basically play on the south balcony windows for free. There was no disruption to them whatsoever. 3 kills came in from that location. So that's something that WILCARD need to be aware of this time. Either by maintaining their presence, which I think they are actually playing for inside a CCTV. So rather than having the cash wall double reinforced this time, you can see they've got half of it open. So that's going to allow them to challenge out of there into CCTV, onto the breach, onto other places. So what it's going to do is maybe just force Furia to have to think a little bit more carefully about standing on that south balcony, because if they're struggling to get themselves control of CCTV, then there's the ever-looming threat of a peek out of that window. Opening kill comes in. Dash takes a lot of damage on the smoke, but does manage to take down the sledge. Baby Shark with a nice nitro onto Nade, and things might just be turning for WILCARD.
Yeah, phenomenal C4, because look at what they got as well. It's the why? Why? Baby Shark making a look a bit silly here and trying to get this wall opened up. Tim, I'm pretty sure they're barely going to struggle to get a foot inside the building as it stands. The Maverick gone, the second player stepping up to the window, got taken down by Baby Shark as well. Wonderful stuff. A 5v2 for WILCARD. Looks like they'll get 3-3, Tim. Though is 3-3 going to be enough to hold on?
Feel Epoch just slides around the corner and manages to pick up a nice kill, but he's going to be traded out pretty much immediately by Baby Shark. So that's going to keep the advantage at 3 men for WILCARD. We go from a 5v2 to a 4v1. Furia looking to JV92 now to do everything. He does manage to pick up Baby Shark, but takes so much damage in doing so that it leaves us all but guaranteed of a 3-3 split here. 1 minute 15 left to go, so he's going to try and use that clock to his advantage. Try and see if maybe anybody just wants to give him an opportunity. If he gets the next kill, doesn't lose any more life, and you're looking at a 1v2, you start thinking, possible, we've seen it done before, but it all depends. It all hinges on this next kill, really.
It's the same as I said at the back end of last round. I was speaking about Fury, but the same applies to WILCARD. Top teams will just not give you that opportunity. Even now, able to push him back ever so slightly with the environmental. It only lasts a few seconds, but it's enough to scare him outside the building. Window's not even open, so again, more information going away. Does he know about the man laid down in front of his face? I don't think he does. Moves over towards Jim instead here, hoping to get anything, but again, top teams won't give you the opportunity. It's all too easy for Spiker. Gets his final kill.
Oh my god, bro, I am a fucking SMG player, bro. Bro, I couldn't hear the guy dropping logic because they were...
He's had a few moments, Baby Shark has in his comments after games. What was the one he said the other day? I'm having sex with them, I believe he said.
I think it was something along
Which is the way without swearing that I actually think is quite a reasonable way to say I'm, destroying them. I wouldn't be quite so polite if I was playing that well, to be fair.
3-3, we find ourselves at the half. I honestly thought Furia were going to have more of a lead than this, but I still think it will be enough for them now that they move on to the defense. Bans will come through, Kaid and Ying, pretty much standard. I think we'll see the Bandit go along with the Kaid, so we'll get the Electro Bro ban out, and
you've really taken to saying that.
I like it. It's a nice little turn of phrase for them. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they'll go somewhere else. Maybe they'll go the Army or something to help them. Mirror, always a good shout as well on Clubhouse. A lot of power kind of looking onto Jacuzzi Wall, that sort of thing. Capitao and Ying I love. Smart bans from Fury there. Ying, of course, super powerful everywhere, but particularly Church and Arsenal attack, getting those Candelas down hatches, following them in, or using them for dirt tunnel, those sorts of places, and then up on the top floor as well, can be helpful for Garage Catwalk and other places. Mentioning Garage Catwalk, that's why the Capitao bans come in. It's going to allow them to play there. So this is where I said maybe an Azami ban from WILCARD. Kind of pick your poison, really. They don't want to go against the Mirror, but what they are going to go against now is that Azami repeatedly. Down here on Church and Arsenal, they will play against Azami. They'll play it in the corner of Arsenal, you can guarantee it. And then when they get onto the catwalk, they're going to be facing Azami up on that catwalk. So whether that's the 4th round ban or not, we will see. But...
yeah! I'm beast with the SMG!
I could watch them all day. They're class.
Brilliant.
Very good, very good. Okay, let's see how it goes then. Furia onto the defense of their own map pick. You would expect them to generally do better than a 3-3 split. And could take the map and send us into Chalet. Why not see all 3 between these two teams? It has been some fantastic high-level siege so far. I'm sure there's plenty more to come throughout the day, but this is certainly the one that I think we looked at this morning, Tim, and we're really excited to cast and, of course, see the end result of throughout the day, and it is delivering so far as a series.
Looking at the entry, just to sort of diverge from that point, looking at the entry, we spoke about it coming into this map and how, you know, WILCARD just hadn't done well enough to begin with. It was 8-4 on the first map in favour of Furia. This time around, they've come in, it's 4-2 in favour of WILCARD, so they really have done better in the beginnings of rounds. All but one round has gone in the direction of the entry kill, so it's really helping them at the minute to try and sort of keep level with Furia.
It's a big change from the last map, I agree with you. It's one thing we were kind of mindful of coming into here, but does that carry on throughout the half? Well, we're going to find out. KZ, dangerously low, forced back down to rejoin his team in the basement. Baby Shark taking a few shots in the process, but he is alive and well. Tim can carry on with that, but getting everything opened up. Would have been quite painful to lose him, granted, because there's no breaching charges in the round, and they're very much relying on him as the single point of failure in this round for making sure they've got verticals for their execute.
Nid goes down just to clear out that barbed wire, give a little bit of access route down blue. So that's something that they're going to have to be aware of at the minute. We've got Philippox playing down in there. He's going to be the one trying to hold that off. The push down main stairs looking to come from Baby Shark as well. He's just kind of being tentative on the book. He's still looking to open up those verticals as well. But everybody for Furia is back inside here. A minute 10 left to go. They're basically just going to constantly absorb pressure now until the final push comes from WILCARD. I like what WILCARD are doing here. They are posturing to go from multiple places. So they've got Dash heading towards and around bottom of main stairs. We see him opening the church wall. You've got the kitchen hatch being opened and pressured, at least the verticals in there are, and then you've got pressure from Kansan over on blue. So there's a lot of different things happening for Furia to focus on.
Yeah, Her's doing what he can to try and keep this wall patched up, but it is inevitably going to be opened up, which is why having Nade nearby is going to be useful here. But Dash just takes his skull clean off his shoulders. What a shot.
Absolutely beautiful stuff. Sparker gets in on the action as well, and Furia fans might just be starting to get a little bit worried here. This is their primary site choice, and WILCARD are about to win the attack. It's 5 versus 2, and at the minute Furia can only get one kill. Nade was the only one to pick one up. WILCARD finding their feet in the second half of this. I was a little bit concerned for the North American side, thinking Furia could be very dominant on the defense, but not looking to be the case after round 7.
Yeah, really impressive first attack from WILCARD. Absolutely bowled through Furia there. And this kind of comes back to what I spoke about on Fortress and what we spoke about all week long. WILCARD are a really fun and successful attacking team here at SI. They've only got better as the last year has gone by through Munich and through Reload. It's just the way that they move at a pace, like I say, that is quite fluid and flowing without making a lot of obvious mistakes. If nothing else, they've very much put themselves up there in the upper echelon, ironically, of teams like Furia that are really good at feeling like you're against an overwhelming number of enemies, despite them having the same number that you do.
Attackers have located a bomb.
We're going to move sites. We're going to move over to Cash and CCTV.
Second again.
And we've got JV on the Zama. It doesn't surprise me in the slightest. Interestingly, we don't have a Wamai or a Jaeger, which, given that they've taken the Capitao away, I kind of get it. But you're still going to find Nade draining it, possibly, if you're trying to hold on to Garage Catwalk. So that's going to be something to watch out for as we go. But honestly, WILCARD were great here. They just gave Furia nowhere to move. Look at just in the split second we saw of that final kill, there was bullets coming in from 3 directions. If you remember, I'd said it at the minute 30 mark. They had a presence in kitchen, they had bottom main stairs, and they had blue. And that is the answer to attacking Church and Arsenal. We say it so many times. If you go one directional down there, all of the defense, you know, all the defensive players will just focus up towards that one direction. And they've got all the time in the world to pick out their shots, pick out the kills. What you need to do is have them spinning around in circles. There's pressure from blue, there's pressure from dirt, there's pressure from main, there's pressure from kitchen hatch. And that's exactly what WILCARD did. Just, you know, it's a fundamental attack, but they just did it really well.
This is what I mean when I say that it's overwhelming, right? It often is, and it feels like it when you've got 3 players all shooting you at once. Like, how's everyone else dying when there's 3 players on me? But that's just how fast execution goes sometimes. So we've got the left-hand side of this wall opened up by the Maverick, and a lovely sight line through as well. It is directed towards the site, and I'd imagine WILCARD are probably thinking to themselves, well, we don't want to quite do the same thing that Furia did. We don't want to send every single player in through the breach and have nothing else really to our attack. But as of yet, Tim, haven't really showed their hand, haven't made it clear where else they're looking to attack. I say that as the Monty steps in towards Garage. It's very, very clear now, Tim. They want this catwalk take to help them with the plan.
Yeah, and I'm looking across the utility and I'm wondering, how are you going to get it? How are you going to get it? They've got 2 nades on Spiker, and that for me is all you've really got there to disrupt JV92 in this position. You're wanting to force the Monty in, but now you're going to struggle because he's just lost about 70% of his health. You've still got Keeper barricades up there. You've got a Capitao ban against you. I'm really not convinced that they do this. They're clearing the utility off. This is all down to Dash. If we look at JV92, he's got nothing that can do anything here, but Nade does have a couple of impact nades in pocket. He's at top red at the minute, so he is a good distance away, but it's just something that they need to be aware of with this Monty. JV92 is controlling this brilliantly.
He is, and again, the more time you can waste up here, the better, but they are going to force him out at some point. You can see they're making great use of the air jabs to try and push him back, but he steps out and gets Kansan, knowing the Monty is only there for information and isn't a threat at present because of the fire and the barbed wire in front of him. They need a little bit of help here. Baby Shark's going to try his best, but Nade also puts him into the grave. Dash going low. Spiker, of course, he steps up and gets one back, but Tim, it has absolutely crumbled here for WILCARD.
Yeah, just an inability to deal with Catwalk. I think with Capitao off the board and not enough nades there, leave Catwalk alone. I think, you know, you maybe go from Jacuzzi side, go in through Master Bedroom and Construction and try to push from that side, open up the wall, you know, do all that sort of work instead, because that was always going to be a massive struggle. As soon as you go in and look at that setup, they've set up to hold Catwalk. And they've held Catwalk, and it's no surprise. They've had multiple barbed wires on there. They've had 2 Vulcan canisters on there. They've had Kiba barricades and the Azami play in there. You know, there's been so much to keep JV92 in that position. And at no point did WILCARD try to breach underneath him and go in underneath and get some throwables up there to get him moving around. It was completely reliant on Dash getting in there with the Monty and disrupting him, and it just didn't work.
I think the plan was maybe to try and get him air jab, then have the Monty drop the shield and just pistol kill him. Obviously, it would have been nice and straightforward, but as with all things in Siege, very rarely is it as straightforward as you might like it to be. Now, for the Maestro, are they hiding him or are they showing him, Tim? Because if they see him, a very good chance here we're going to see a Brava getting rolled out too. It does look like indeed they're going to show him, not try and hide him away. So I would expect either a lot of good range destruction utility to come out from the other side of WILCARD or a Brava. There is no Brava, so they're very much relying on Dash being able to get in and get rid of those Evil Eyes.
And see where they are being placed. Philippox, I think, just leaving it until into the round to place 1 or 2. And it maybe just means that WILCARD aren't quite aware of where they are, and they're going to have to go in there and specifically look for them. And looking across, still only 2 nades on side, so only 2 nades to deal with those Evil Eyes, or it's going to come down to the Rotero drones of Dash. But of course, there are other elements of utility that might need dealing with. Barbed wire, for example, Clash Shield. Rotero drone can be great for dealing with that. So it's gonna. I think they, again, WILCARD here might just be stretched a little bit thin in terms of utility.
Absolutely. Well, here we go. We've got those Roteros rolling on through to clear out any impediments in their way. The barbed wire on main stairs being the main one right now. Philippox still with one of those in back pocket. It's worth raising. Maybe expect that to go down in front of a window somewhere just to slow down the attackers as they step on through, give away exactly what's going on when they do. But Nade's being thrown on through as Kansan picks up KZ. Down goes the Jaeger. Not the biggest loss, Tim, but it's still KZ. It still feels like a big loss.
Of course it does. You know, any one of these Furia players taken off the board is a real bonus when you're up against them, because they're all capable of so much. We've currently got Hurge just dancing around that construction door. We know, obviously, a power position. He's able to challenge on into Cash. He's able to challenge construction wall, even have a little jump out of a window if he needs to. Jacuzzi wall is going to get opened up, ready immediately for the fight. Love that from Bay. Just absolutely prepared to pounce and does so.
What I love there is very commonly you'll see a player rappelling over the edge of the balcony, and that's what he was looking for, the Bandit, when he was stepping out for a gunfight. Didn't think that we'd see the Thermite there being ready on one side of the breach, because normally they'd rappel up to the roof and get out of the way. So really smart by Bay to kind of play the mind games at the back of that one. Gets himself a double in the round. Baby Shark is down, not quite recoverable, as Nade has done the work there to finish him off. It's a 4v2, but that clash is still standing, Tim.
Dash manages to pick up Herds in the trade there after Kansan was taken out. 1 versus 3 now.
Oh,
Nid
boy.
gets the first. Can he do 2 more? Diffuser is going down. Spiker just looking to get it behind the weight rack, but he comes off because he knows that pressure is mounting. He's concerned about leaving Bay in the 1v1 against Nid while the Diffuser goes down. They're going to have to make a choice, though. No real reason why they have to go for the kill, but they're going to try.
They see him on the camera inside the site. They know that he's here, and he hits the 1 as well. You can't be letting this one happen, guys. This is where those evil eyes come into effect, but no. Bay rounds main, finds his man, and Wildcard step forward. That really, for a second there, looked like the Clash was going to see that round out.
Well, Nid has done it so many times. We know he's got it in his locker. We know it's something that he can bring out, and for a second, as you say, it just looked more and more possible. And I think really, you know, Spiker, stay on the plant there for me. Stay on the plant, and, you know, I don't know if... It's a difficult one because it's easy to, you know, sort of sit and look at and say...
In hindsight, yeah.
and say where the problems were. But, you know, I don't know if Bay's in the best position to cover from there.
That was, I imagine, what the call was.
That's my concern.
I can't protect you because he's got a shield. He can pick up that shield, walk back to where the plank's going down. You have to come off anyway, so let's play for the kill instead.
Exactly. You know, he's not in a great position to cover. Whether he could have maybe been located somewhere a little bit better. But, you know, ultimately, you deal, you know, you play the cards you dealt, and that was the position they were in. Bay had a great round, you know, getting that that kill to really open things up, but it was enough. Wildcard get themselves 5-4, 2 rounds away from a 2-0 victory against Furia. I think a lot of people knew what Wildcard were capable of after the Munich Major, of course, coming in here, but I'll be honest, I don't think a lot of people would have been picking them for top in this group.
No. There's a conversation. I don't want to put certain people on blast in saying this either, but there were a few in the green room saying, oh, you know, who do you feel in the NA region Wildcard are kind of fighting with for a spot? Is it like Dark Zero, OXG? And I looked at them a little bit like, I don't want to be mean to OXG, but Wildcard are like a way better team, as we've seen. As I've said back at Reload, then at Munich, and even now, at some point we have to stop seeing them as that team that, you know, might occasionally punch up and overperform. They are a consistently top-performing team, as they've shown repeatedly over the last 12 months. And I think we're at a stage now where the question isn't about are they rivaling with these teams fighting to be at majors, it's who's fighting them to be #1 from the region.
I want a Spiker jersey. I am absolutely #1 Spiker fanboy at this point. Really enjoying watching.
I'd like a Baby Shark one, I think.
Really enjoying watching him play. Spiker gets the entry there, takes down the Ella, and I feel like they've broken the spirit of Furia here. And there's not many teams who do that, Des, but it just feels like Furia, you know, when you feel like you're fighting that losing battle,
yep,
no matter what you do, and I just feel like Furia are in that position at the minute where they're looking, they're just thinking, there's nothing here that's working.
I'd love to see these boys go on and win the whole thing. It would be one hell of a story, that's for sure. The wild card, the underdog, whatever you want to call them, it would certainly upset the hierarchy I think that we've all gotten used to seeing in Tier 1. Siege for Leapox holding the window. Shields in place, so here we go. One coming on towards the other window, one coming towards construction door. This is that overwhelming nature that I keep on speaking about Wildcard. The pressure, it feels like you got 10 players coming at you, Tim. They're just rolling over Furia yet again. It's 4v2 with Bay on his backside. He'll get picked up here nice and quick. Alicia AV steps across and gets rid of one as Bay, I thought, was in a spot there maybe to get his way back up and out with the rest of his team. It's now, look at them, they're pushing so aggressive here, Tim. But is they ready? Yes, he is. Finds one. Gets the second as well. It was looking so good for a second, but is it now crumbling before Wildcard's eyes?
Nade is so good, and he's sat on top of the diffuser as well, by the way. Let's not forget. Maybe I need a Nade jersey as well. He's been absolutely brilliant throughout this tournament. They're going to take the damage from the Denari. JV manages to pick up Kansan, and Wildcard are going to be left wondering how on earth they have not won this round. It was such a great start to it for them, and now they've ended up in this position. The flash misses, I think. Nade is just going to run away. He's going to leave the fight to JV, who's got himself in behind the boxes. There you go, close down. That was really good from Furia, particularly Nade. So what's happened there for me? I think Wildcard have done really well. Early aggression, as you say, they just completely overwhelmed teams. They throw everything in. But then they've been a victim of their own success because they've got swept up in it. And they think, right, run at them, we can keep going, we can just keep them. And the answer is actually, with 4v2, take the foot off the gas, get back on the drones, back to game plan. And they haven't done that because they haven't droned ahead of themselves properly in that dirt tunnel, because I think they're kind of half aware that Nade is somewhere down there, but they were not ready for that fight. He springs around that corner and just like takes both of them out in quick, sharp time, and it basically ends the round because the diffuser goes down as well. Like, you can't be wandering into him like that with the diffuser in hand. So, yeah, mistakes were made for WILCARD there. I think maybe just swept up on their own wave of momentum, you know, and carried ahead of themselves essentially. But Furia doing well to dig in and get the round done.
The best kill I've ever seen from that spot, by the way, that pre-fire onto that soft wall, was a clash that was then stood on the bedroom doorway. Was looking in towards bedroom, just stood on the doorway looking around like that. Someone pre-fired from construction through, and I believe it was actually in the UK scene that we saw this, through that soft wall, headshot the clash, and I was like, you look at that and just go,
forget it.
I'm done. Alt F4, get me out. I don't want to play no more. It is ludicrous the kind of kills that you can get through that wall sometimes, as we've just witnessed. However, Furia lose the entry, still go on to win the round, Tim. I don't blame WILCARD. I know what you're saying in terms of what you're speaking about a second ago as well, but I think they had the right idea. You're looking for a 2v1 inside of dirt.
It is.
You back yourself as a team to win that, but sometimes it's going to go wrong, and that's just that siege for you.
It's fine. Like I said, you know, it's always in hindsight. It's always, I think, you know, yeah, in that situation, 4v2, if you've got plenty of time, take your foot off the gas a little bit, you know, and get the job done. But like you say, it's understandable that given the success they'd had with that pressure and the way that it felt like momentum was building, that you do kind of think, yeah, let's just, you know, carry on rolling through here. It's a kind of a ruthlessness, isn't it? But ultimately, that ruthlessness was what led them to be punished by Furia. So here we go. We're in round 11. We're up on Cash CCTV. Nade has brought along the clash again. We saw him previously on this almost winning out on the gym and bedroom side. Bay did manage to take him down towards the end, but Nade has certainly been the one to watch for Furia over the last few days. 11-6, continues to be so.
Sees 4 players on that one shock drone there as well, so knows that they're all set up around the site. Very much a standard setup that you come to expect on this site overall. Nade right now postured quite far forward and quite aggressive on towards the breach, so typically plays on the door between sites here. So a bit further back, kind of digs in there, able to support that way in towards garage as well with the sight line that he has on towards stairs, but at this point, just making sure that he has info on what's going on outside more than anything else. But there'll be a lot of movement around this top floor. Dash looking for a backstab. A quiet game from him so far. If he gets a kill here, this will really get them moving.
Yeah, it certainly will do. He's just going to be peeking that door. Nitro goes out. A lot of pressure towards top red stairs from Dash. Bay manages to find the first kill onto Herds. And here they go. WILCARD overwhelming again, but don't get ahead of yourself. Dash tries to chase down the clash and backs off this time. Doesn't want to overextend and give Philippox that chance. There is an opportunity to think about getting the diffuser down here, given that they've got them pinned on top red. Doesn't look like they're going to go for it for the time being, though. Kansan on the swing, manages to get the double, and that is going to be WILCARD getting themselves on to match point.
Just shows how effective they've used utility there. The nades and the flashes that were coming in forced 3 players on Furia, all to top red. That is not a good place for Furia to be. Normally, what, like a max 2 players there. The clash +1 is more than enough, but 3 of them got boxed in, and at that point, WILCARD knew that they had them. There were no nasty surprises waiting for them. It was a case of keeping all guns up and pointing the right way, thinking about the execute. In the end, it wasn't even necessary. WILCARD, a single round away from 2-0 in Furia and getting that instant spot in the second round of our upper bracket, at which time, Tim, if they win 1 game in that upper bracket, they're already qualified for our live stage.
That's it. It's big. It really is big taking top spot. We can't overstate it here, you know, because obviously everybody comes to these tournaments wanting to win, but another big part of it is about having those moments on the main stage, getting to play in the venue. You know, that's one of the reasons that you start playing competitive video games, is the dream of getting into those big matches. And it's going to put whoever wins this a lot closer to exactly that. Gym and bedroom then will be possibly the last site that we will see between Furia and WILCARD, if WILCARD are able to come out with a win here. They did manage to win this site on the attack last time around. It was close. It was down to that 2v1 against Nade. Bay was ultimately able to get the kill on main stairs.
Really?
We're going to have Furia taking a risk.
And they know. They're just pre-fight in case there is someone there, but do they really know? Hertz has got to go for it like nowish, really. Gonna certainly try his best. Oh, he's so close to getting his man. Baby Shark down to 10 HP. And just goes to show, even when you do everything right, even pre-firing where you assume a player might be, doesn't always guarantee you aren't still going to get jumped on.
Looking to get the CCTV wall open. We're going to see the Tubarao just deploying one of those Soto canisters to kick things off. That will at least slow things down. JV92 able to maintain his location inside of CC for the time being until that wall opens at least. So he'll get another 30-40 seconds there when he's working his way through these auto canisters. Third will go out, and that's going to be the last one. So as that wears out, then we will hear the Selma charge detonate. JV likely to dip back towards Cash at some point. I wouldn't have thought he's going to overstay his welcome here. Saying that, he is still there. Ah, there we go. He's out.
Pre-fire just in case there was one more on both sides. Was going to say being used to get the wall opened up. Herd's going to get rid of Baby Shark. Finally, to be stalked him across the map, and finally got rid of the man that he put down to 10 HP earlier on. That's the construction window opened up for now and cleared away, which just means for at least for a short amount of time, Furia are more able to move through there quite freely. But something tells me, Tim, Nade doesn't want to leave top red just yet. They want to keep the pressure up around here.
Yeah, exactly that. You don't want to give this up too soon, especially if you've got the clash. You do have a little bit of freedom, you know, to maybe stay longer than other players would manage. Just kind of keep that pressure on, but as the air jab flies in, knows it's time to go. He doesn't want to be finding himself on his backside getting taken out. So they've also given up Cash, and Herds has dropped back out deep into construction now as well. Dash is going to take a lot of damage there. 5 versus 4 as Baby Shark was lost along the way. And that leaves us now with Furia in the advantage, 55 seconds left to go.
Absolutely. Let's got the Cash CC extension broken, but they're still down the player, and Dash is dangerously low at this point, Tim. And now they've lost Bay. It could well be an OT game coming our way as Herds hits the double. They can just sit back in sight now, Tim, behind the Clash Shield, very, very happy that they know WILCARD haven't got enough to be able to get this one over the line. It's going to require something really special from Kansan or Spiker, I expect, to see this one done.
Furia will have had the choice of sides for overtime. It is worth remembering. 25 seconds left to go in this round. We're going to continue to see those Bs fired in. Furia have been forced all the way back deep into sight. There might actually just be a little bit of space to be found here. Hatch is open, but no, Philippox on a big double. Furia fight their way back out. 7 seconds left to go. Spiker, no choice but to try and go for the kills. Philippox is the one to pick up the last man. I think I just saw a signal for a tactical timeout there, did I, from Furia at the end? I could be wrong. We're going to go into overtime one way or another, Des.
And Furia start on attack?
That's a choice. I mean, Furia will have had the choice there.
They will. And it is indeed a tap timeout. Let's get into it, shall we, and see what both teams can do to turn the game around, because it is indeed Furia, you're correct. Probably because they know they're going onto the attacking side here.
Yeah.
Although it's been 3-3.
So it's not.
I knew that was the next line we both say.
It's not the end of the world, but
it isn't. Of course, not forgetting, we also have M80 versus FearX over on the A stream right now. Last I looked, it was 2-1 to FearX, and right now it's at 2 apiece, Tim.
Interestingly, in the entry stakes, it's been a complete reversal. So it was 8-4 in favour of Furia on Fortress, and this time it has been 8-4 in favour of WILCARD. So they've certainly been able to roll with the punches there and get themselves back into that.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be. Are we balanced?
Perfect.
I guess I make up for the hair that you don't have.
Perfect.
What do you make up for I haven't got?
Humour.
Oh, okay. Let's see what happens then as we step into this. In fact, I've looked at the score on the game. It's 3-2 on the attacking side of club to FearX. Who saw that one coming?
FearX are just in an
It has required 2 1v2s to be won. Woogie and Mephi have won 2 separate 1v2s.
Woogie's actually, I know FearX have been wobbly, to say the least, over the last couple of games. They've not been really on form, but Woogie has had a real good tournament from what I've seen of him. I've seen some insane kills that he's been picking up, kind of business as usual. But
Did you say the line, by the way? Can you say the line now, please? Please.
No.
Tim, I can't cast until you say the line.
Well.
Play it. All right, mate. All yours then. I ain't saying nothing else until you say it.
No, it's got to be, it's an energy thing, Des. It's a vibe, is the line.
Get the energy up for us then.
No, it's a vibe. It's a time. It's a place. It's, there's a lot of, You can't just say the words. There's
Tim, contractually, I can't cast until you say that line.
We're going to overtime.
Thank you. Thank you.
There's a lot more than the words that go into it. You see, people think this job's easy, Des. Well, there's a lot more than the words go into that one. You got to really feel it in your soul.
Oh, right idea. Does he get him? Does he see anything? An elbow? An armpit?
He must know that he's there.
Anything? Oh, no. Oh, yeah, nice idea. No. Okay, never mind. Good try, though.
So it's just going to be trying to maintain this position up above for the time being. Kansan on the score post in support as well. Downstairs in Church and Arsenal for the site for Wildcard. Let's just have a look at how they did on that previously. They played it twice, won it once. So, like everything in this game, very 50-50. So we will see whether they're able to hold on this time or not. Immediate pressure then is going to be found through Jacuzzi Wall. They want to clear out this top floor, make sure that they deal with Baby Shark. These fights are going to be particularly important. I think Wildcard really need to make sure that they don't overstay their welcome. Bay manages to get one. Ooh. Baby Shark! Unbelievable play! Takes down 2, including the Blackbeard! Fantastic stuff!
And diffusers down inside a Logi that they've got to go and deal with now, Tim. Oh, Kansan's up there still too, so he can waste a hell of a lot of time. This is looking absolutely fantastic. Okay, never mind, he's teleported downstairs. But you'll take that,
Tim. No, that's perfect. Get everybody back.
They're in a 4v2. Get on site. Hold your angles. This is theirs for the taking.
What did I say? 4v2. Take your foot off the gas a little bit. Back off and prepare yourself for the rest of the round. Wildcard doing that brilliantly. Forward back. They are such an organised and structured team, and they are showing us that in this round. So now JV92 and Herd's got it all to do. They've got a minute left. They've got utility that they need. It looks like it's going to be a
that is so good.
It really is. He's just going to stand right on top of there waiting for the impact nade to come up. It does, and he gets the kill in response. But still a 2v3, 45 seconds.
They can't lose another man advantage like this. They've been here before when they've had a 2 or 3 man lead and still seen the round go away from them. Furia have certainly been more clutch in these reduced individual count remaining, whatever you want to call it, situations. And I'm just a bit nervous. Again, genius play there. They knew the impact trip was coming up. Steps across and finds the man for free downstairs. That's a good way to say, I'll lose half my life for it, but I'll get us a kill at the very least. Here we go then. Stepping on forward as a flash comes on through. Herds has got his whole way up, but Kansan steps out for one. He ain't having none of that nonsense. JV, they're going to hear him drop in now. Knows that it should lead to a swing. It's not quite going to come on through. Looking for one player in the last 10 seconds or so. JV removes one. Where are the last 2? Behind you is the answer. It's like a pantomime, Tim. Wildcard up to 7-6. One more round. And that's it. They take the 2-0.
Spiker, the ever-present closer for Wildcard, coming in there just to mop up at the end and get that round done. 7-6 now. And 2 opportunities for Wildcard to close this out. Furia at best will get 1 chance, but they're going to have to survive this attack first.
And that's assuming, of course, they don't attack well to begin with. It could be that Wildcard, as we saw back on Fortress, as we've seen on this map, have got something cooked up and ready, and they can just completely overwhelm Furia. No surprises that we're going to start things off down in the basement. I imagine next round we'll head towards gym and bedroom. Cash and CC has been a bit of a murky affair so far on this map. But Nade, Shock Horror Tim, is jumping straight back over to that clash that has proved a bit of a headache for Wildcard to deal with.
Yeah, it has. No surprise to see them bringing it on again. And like you said, Nade just been using it fantastically well. Great positioning, not exposing himself to easy opportunities. Double kill, absolutely brilliant. Kind of target rich there for him, and he picks out the right 2. Doesn't get the 3rd, but it doesn't matter because the damage is done and the attack was broken at that point. So great play from Baby Shark to hold on in a difficult spot. But right now, we're going to be going down to Church and Arsenal again. Pretty much every time we've seen this from both sides on the defence, there's been a heavy top floor presence. There's been a requirement to clear that. Last time around, Wildcard actually did great work clearing that top floor presence, if you remember. They got in there, they were 4v2 very quickly, and then they just got a little bit ahead of themselves, and Nade was able to punish them. So I think this time, it's going to be more of the same from Wildcard. Get themselves into that top floor. They're certainly not going to be scared at trying to take over the map. They're already doing it. Philippots is up there on his own at the minute, pretty much around the stairs, so he's able to just come creeping back down towards Lounge. So it's going to be pretty easy for Wildcard to just go in and take this top floor. As I say that, Casey's ratted his way up the main stairs and gets a kill onto Baby Shark. Right, right place, right time, right outcome for Furia.
This has happened a few too many times this series where Baby Shark's been a bit too keen to open a window, push down a staircase, anything like that, and pays the price. We saw it a little bit from Dash earlier in the half too. Well, earlier in their attacking half on the Deimos when he was getting a bit too far forward despite having player drones just behind him. A couple of seconds more and maybe it'd have been safe to get in there. But instead, WILCARD have now got to fight back from this 4 versus 5 spot, knowing there is a clash to deal with. There's a tuber out to work your way through. There's a lot of stall available to Furia here. It's not looking too promising for the North American side.
No, it's really not. Spiker's going to start heading down those main stairs. Malusi's been targeted out by Deimos as well, but it's not really going to impact KZ too much. He's down in sight. He's not in a position where there can be any vertical sort of advantage gained over him, and he's just going to take his time and start getting those reinforcements.
They know that Kansas pushing on through, and they just don't know, Tim.
No, they don't.
That's the second kill this round, which drones could have very easily prevented. You've got the Deimos on side to help with this kind of thing, but the track was on the wrong player, and they paid the price. It feels like WILCARD are going to have to get it done in round 15, but let's see if Furia can close out strong first.
Yeah, it certainly looks like they will do. Deimos is looking to go towards dropping oil pit. We'll do that. Bacon now push forward into blue, but we're going to have a proximity alarm that's going to give away his location as well. Furia, they're not getting over-committed here. I love Nade's position. He's just got that clash set up so that he can see bottom main as well. Soto Canister is going to prevent the Selma from just opening up that long angle, which we have seen used to success previously in this matchup. So definitely a good idea to try and keep that close. Herd steps around, gets himself another in the round onto Spiker. It's all falling apart and could be flawless for Furia here. Dash does prevent that, but I don't think he's going to prevent much more, to be honest. He's now got Nade chasing him down. JV gets the kill. Going all the way to 15, Des.
Yay, he set the line. We are indeed, Tim. And this will probably be a gym bedroom site we step into here. I'll see if it's Cash CC first, but I think I'd be shocked if we find ourselves heading there. Although both sides have seen this 1-for-1 exchange between the two sides. Just a reminder, of course, they switch sides again here. We are in OT, so the teams take it in turns until we get here to this final round of 15. Where WILCARD are on the defense, Furia are on the attack. It is going to be Cash and CC. Okay, we'll see how it goes. Furia the ones to attack, WILCARD defense. Let's see if this ends 2-0 or if Chalet awaits us in map 3.
I think we all want a bit of Chalet, probably everybody apart from WILCARD. But that's just because of how well these two are playing. It's
phenomenal game, yeah.
It's just brilliant Siege to watch, isn't it? You know, we're talking this matchup wouldn't look out of place in a grand final, for example.
No,
you know, it really wouldn't with the level of quality that we're seeing. So yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure so far, and a third map certainly would be no painful thing to me. It might be to Baby Shark if he keeps getting caught out like that. He could do with avoiding that. I honestly, I kind of fancy WILCARD for this. They've gone to CCTV. If we have a look at that again, do you want to know how it was, Des?
They won one and lost one.
They won one, lost one. It was 50-50. As everything in this game on Clubhouse has been. So it is, again, sort of toss of a coin. Bringing along the mirror, though, that could be a really big play. We didn't see that from them previously in either of the rounds that they played. So that is now completely mixing it up. Furia have new problems to deal with.
New problems to deal with, Tim, and of course no Thermite to play that merry dance with it. It's banned away from them in the first half, but it remains banned away as things do carry over from the respective halves throughout the game. Now, that does still mean on the other side that shields are available to make use of, as we've got in this round for Leapox on towards the Blackbeard. It's a very, very safe lineup, I'd say, overall for Furia. Double flank watch as well coming out with the Gridlock and the Nomad. They really don't want to give any chances for WILCARD to upset them here as they look for their execute. But we've got to decide first and foremost, which parts of the map are they taking? You always get East Plat, but then we're looking towards Garage or you're looking towards Construction. You always, well, not always, but realistically, you need one of those two other angles to be able to make an execute work here without being absolutely slammed on your step through into the site itself.
Selma Charger's going to work, opening up that CCTV wall, so that's a good first step. Spiker is playing on Catwalk. Rotero drones trying to burn through those castle barricades. We saw the castle previously from WILCARD on this site. That was the one that they lost back in round 2. Wasn't ideal. Furia did a great job of kind of forcing their way through master side. It's not something that they're trying this time around, and it's going to be much more focused still towards Lounge, Garage. Made is trying to work his way underneath at the moment, but takes a lot of damage there.
Blackbeard really wants to go in for this challenge as well. You can see the traps coming up to stop the movement coming out so much from Spiker. A really good idea to stop them dodging away from nades because they're slowed down while inside those tracks. They take damage too, but look who's underneath inside of Oil. Here comes Herds from one side, and he gets rid of Baby Shot. The smoke gone.
That's a great position for Herds to take up. Doesn't manage to shoot out the Nitro and was maybe a little bit too focused on it. Kansan takes the opportunity to step out and level things up 4v4. Spiker's done a great job of holding on to that catwalk. Is Dash going to have an opportunity to get involved in this from Oil Pit? Don't forget, Spiker manages to find his man. Wildcard, they might have just taken a big step towards getting this one done in two, but no, KZ, he takes a step of his own. Spiker cleared off catwalk, but only 30 seconds left to go. Furia almost have what they need, but Dash up through the vent. He finds the kill.
That is magic, and now they're hunting him down, but he's got a second. He's had a quiet game, but this is where Dash needed to go big, and he has delivered. Nade, the last one left against 3 with 15 seconds to play. There's only one way this ends, and it's in a wildcard 2-0 here. What a win for the North American side. They get all 4 points. They finish top of the group, and Furia have got some work to do coming into playoffs, Tim, as they'll start out in round 1 of the upper bracket.
Wildcard with that bye in the upper bracket will now be just 1 win away from the main stage. What a result for them. They have come in, quietly gone about their work, and very much impressed everybody at the Six Invitational 2026.
And I think showing everybody else how to play Fortress, Tim. That's 3 games that they've now won there as well in a row. Here at the tournament, they will very much be the teacher, and others will have to learn to respect them on that map. It is going to make playoffs so interesting to see. But as you say, the hard work has been done, and I really fancy seeing these boys in our top few teams come the end of this event.
You got a feel for JV and Nade there. They've got 27 kills between the two of them and still come away with the loss. It's been tough for Leapox, Casey and Herds. All struggled to get into that game a little bit, I think, and ultimately that's cost them. When you look across the side of Wildcard, just like I commented on Fortress, we'll see the same from the stats here. They have been just a team. Again, nobody particularly outstanding. Very even across the board, and that's what's got it done.
I'd say quite rounded team performances from both back on Fortress, but you definitely started to see that evolve a little bit coming into Club. But phenomenal as well, because let's not forget, Wildcard have beaten Furia on a map they have very clearly prepped coming into this series and taken the 2-0. It was close, there was 1 round between them, but all that matters at the end of the day is that Wildcard come out on top and Furia, sadly, do not.
Yep, that's the top and bottom of it. We can see there, as I said, 13, 11, 10, 10. Everybody getting involved for Wildcard, but there was just that little bit of a difference across on the Furia side. JV, Nade sort of standing out above a little bit, but still, fantastic stuff. Both teams played well. They've given us some great entertainment. JV, predictably their MVP, really going big. Spiker having a great game as well. I know I said a few times about him throughout that one. He continues to impress as he leads Wildcard through this tournament. And yeah, for me, Wildcard, they're going to be top 4.
Yeah, for me, they have to be now after that kind of performance. The real question then comes, who else joins them? Like I put FaZe down as potential winners for this event. If Wildcard could play to that quality and bring in the amount of prep they clearly had against Furia and then against FaZe later on, there's a very good challenge there, and I can't wait to see which way it goes.